Okay, now is this working? Okay, yeah, okay, alright. Let's check to see if the other sound is working. Just have to wait till part of the game actually has sound. That'll do. Okay. Yeah, it's working. Okay, perfect. Alright, not sure why the settings were all weird on that one. I always have those days where it's like something turns off the microphone pickup for my whatever I'm doing. And I have to fix that. Alright. I don't remember what we were doing. I'm pretty sure we're just heading back into the dungeon. Nothing too special as far as that goes. And I think we got a new section to head to. Guess we'll find out. Okay. Yep. Pretty sure this is our first step into Ptolemea B8. What should actually probably be doing is starting off with the other game and then going into Persona afterwards.
Let's do the best we can.
That way it's sort of like going back and forth in the sense of like going from combat to other stuff and then back. But either way, I guess it doesn't really make a difference. It's like... Okay, we finally got a new tile set. Alright. Let's take a brief moment here to think about what this place is going to be like. I actually think this is quite fancy, but, you know, very Palace of Mirrors kind of thing. Lots of these sort of marble columns built in sections kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, this is quite nice looking. We've got these spinny globe things up here that don't look like they're actually proper for a planetary one, actually. This looks more like a sort of model of the atom, which is kind of interesting. Then you got these little, like, Illuminati triangles at the bottom here.
I wonder what else is outside of here. If it's an abyss, there are probably multiple directions you can fall in from.
Well, I mean, we just call it that. I don't know if it actually fits there. We got this sort of, like, you know, weeping angel that's going to be behind us. That's very comforting. Good to know we got a friend that's got our back, you know. Oh, and immediately a Monad door. Okay, well, I'm glad that I was wrong and that they did actually have a new tile set eventually.
Door.
I'm still not sure why they decided to make it so that it, like, cycles through them in the way that it does instead of making it so that each, like, door has one sort of set. I think that would have made more sense, but...
All right.
Alright, these are the same as the ones that we just took out recently.
Doesn't seem to have any effect.
Yeah, and this guy's the problem.
Just watch.
Okay.
What next?
Since we should be able to beat the other guy, the guy that keeps casting status effects relatively quickly, I'm a little bit less concerned about debuffing him right now.
How can I help my sister?
But maybe I should actually be debuffing it first. Who knows?
I can do this.
So we probably want to actually hit him with a multi-hit fire attack here so that we hit both of them. And I kind of feel like just hitting him with another set of that again is going to be our best choice, but we could also try to do Sexy Dance. I think that this would be kind of good
This is my
if it works. And I think what we'll do is we'll get the other guy. Yeah, we got the other guy. And he'll just waste his turn because I think this guy's immune to that. Okay, that should be fine.
This doesn't look good.
That actually hurts really badly, but whatever. Alright, got our chat up. Does he have a regular attack? He does, okay. So that'll help.
What should I do?
I don't actually mind still hitting him, though. Alright, well, I don't want to kill it that quickly. Let's see if we can get a freeze.
This is my resolve.
I think it's actually pretty likely that we can't. Alright, let's go ahead and rebellion ourselves. Got App Pupil.
I'll end this. Hold still.
Very good.
Way to go, Menace.
Still charmed. Nice. This is actually probably a really good time to use the Justice.
I didn't expect this.
Ow.
Aegis is down. This is bad.
Okay, well,
Pull the trigger.
oh, I could have actually cured that with Amrita drop, I think. I may have to actually beat that other guy pretty soon here.
Will this work?
Okay.
The enemy's been taken out. Great job, Amanakun.
That'll hurt, but I don't think anyone's... Yeah, that's fine.
To do this. Come. My face.
Okay. Just have to hope for crits. Now he's by himself. I kind of actually think that... well... I should probably switch out Dionysus, actually. I could use Makarakarn on her, though. Tarunda would be nice here. Especially now. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to hit him with a, Dakaja. I'll have Ken do it. Man. Okay. I really wish that criticals were a little bit more, you know, common. For us, that is. The enemy seems to get, well, not very many either, but... There we go. Not on the person with Rebellion and App Pupil, though. That should down this guy, though. Not being able to all-out attack always sucks. Alright. What do I think is likely this guy's weakness? I think we just killed it last time. I don't think that we even had to worry about that. What do I don't know. Let's just try that. Yeah, blocked. And we're kind of wasting it here, but... Well, unfortunate. We'll try fire on both first. It'll get the weaker one probably, but not the other one. Yep. Timing on that's not bad either. Alright, so is this guy just not weak to anything? There's a very real chance he's not. Which would be annoying if true.
And now,
Just gonna do this now just in case.
thank you for your support.
Also have to use Aha here. I have to kind of do... Yeah, well, actually, let's just do this. Yeah. The other one might have been more damage, but probably not. No, it probably would have been, actually. I should have used Tranquility.
Preparing to re-engage.
Okay, so the problem here is that I've got low health, so if I do this, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So I kind of want to do this. Well, that was a hell of a critical. Let's do this. And then we'll try this. Okay, the only thing left is slashing.
Keep it together. This'll be good.
The fact that I lost her
Now's the time.
theurgy is really bad. Oh well.
Appreciate it. Could I scan on this enemy? What should I do?
It might. It probably just isn't weak to anything. Yeah, resist that.
What is optimal?
Okay, not too sure what to do here, really. I could use Justice. I'm not sure actually how we killed that beetle last time. I think we just had a bunch of theurgies that we dumped. Just hoping for a random critical here. Nope. Oh yeah, no, we got it.
Will this work?
Or maybe we killed it with Tetrakarn-like effects. Man, this thing is tough. Alright, we got it.
This is my resolve.
Alright, this guy had something weird. It was ice. Okay.
Keep it together. The enemy seems impenetrable to piercing. And now, pull the trigger.
Kind of just in case here.
Thank you for your support.
Goodbye, homunculus. Wait, we still get knocked down for that? I did not know that. Well, shit.
How can I help my sister?
Yeah, I thought if the homunculus sacrificed itself, we didn't get knocked down and didn't get another go. That really sucks.
I can do this. This is my duty.
I need to kind of switch to Succubus and just, like, steal its, SP.
I'm okay.
Which is not ideal. We'll see if we can get charged up. That would be
Use it now.
best here. Okay, that's good. That's fine. I'm just gonna use this. This will give me some time.
Won't let anyone else die. Thank you very much.
The health obviously doesn't really matter here, but...
What's the best move?
Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and steal a bunch of its, oops, shit, that was the wrong one. Oh, we can still do this, though. I think that you get more from Succubus, though. I was getting 40, I think, before. Okay, well, that took out a lot of his hit points. He'll probably be dead from this. Bit unfortunate. I would have liked to have stolen a little bit more SP from him, but... whatever. Max HP, or we could get EXP. I can get both. I'm not really sure I think that the 10 extra hit points is really that good. Just generally speaking. Diarahan's not really something I ever like that much. At least not on Yukari. Another Cannon of Anguish. I wonder if the effect is better. No one wanted the waistcoat. That's interesting. Hide of Anguish. Sure, we'll see what those are. It's got wind boost on them. That actually does technically work for her. I think the crit rate up, but I think we're just going to have to abandon that now. Wind boost will be okay. She actually has that. That does make me wonder if it randomizes those sort of effects to people who can definitely use it. Like, what if Yukari got, like, fire boost up? Like, I'm imagining that she can't get that on her items. So, like, there's no bow that has that. Although that would mean Aegis could get anything, I guess. So it's really just for, like, Koromaru has unique armor.
There could be something good in there.
Aegis has unique armor. Metis has unique armor. Yeah, I'm not sure how they decide to do that. We'll find out, I guess, as we go, but decent chance that we never actually know for sure. Ooh, okay. That feels earlier than it should have been. Since I actually did one of these relatively recently. Either way, though, we'll take it. Hey there, Morbits. Things are going okay. I finally found a new tile set, and it looks really nice. I don't know why this one came in so late, or why they're organizing the way they're doing it, but I really like the look. It is a little bit too ostentatious, but, like, you know, it's variety. I've done Junpei's door? Yeah, I've done Junpei's door. I'm not 100% sure who's not going to get their door, because it looks like someone's going to get, not going to get one. I'm guessing it's going to be like Metis and I guess they're going to have something different going on, but yeah, I'm not too sure how that's going to go. I feel very strongly like the other people that are going to get them are going to be like Mitsuru, Yukari, and I don't know if they're going to skip Koromaru or what, but I think it's probably going to be Yukari, Mitsuru, and Fuka. But maybe not? I don't know. Alright, well this got us screwed out of all of the shuffle time potentially, but, you know, maybe we'll get it. Got it anyway. Lovely. And it got me a precious egg. That's not really that worth it. I would have preferred, actually, maybe I should have skipped that one. Oh, well. I'm not too worried right now about maximizing my gains, so... Alrighty.
Time to scan the enemy soon. Focus.
Oh, I don't know what this does to these guys yet. Average. Okay.
Well done. Shall I take charge? This is my resolve.
Alright, so I could keep trying to level up this little guy a little bit, but... I don't know. I find Succubus is a lot more useful just because, like, having her boost up the charm percentage on our, whatever. She's not in the original. Well, I think that they're gonna have to do, like, some big cutscene thing, but yeah, like, I'm expecting her to not have a door, is kind of how that goes, yeah. But they're gonna have to have, like, some big cutscene with, like, Aegis and some big cutscene with Metis, or something like that. The only thing is, like, are they not gonna have one for Koromaru? Because if not, that kind of sucks. Oh, yeah, that was why it was, like, increased. XCOM has gotten to the point where, not only am I really mad at it, but not only am I crashing out, but the game's also crashing out. I got to the base defense one, and my game keeps crashing there. I figured out how to fix that eventually, but it's getting harder and harder to get the game to run stably. I figured out eventually, like, there's a real big stability problem once you have enough sort of number of, like, saves, so if you're rotating them aggressively, it actually starts crashing your game. And since I do tend to, like, fairly aggressively rotate my saves, that does mean that, like, my game keeps crashing. So I've had to, like, consistently go back and start deleting all of them. So yeah, it's going fine. Wait, why did I switch to you? Okay, whatever. Let's just, I got distracted. Alright. On the other hand of that, though, I am at the point where I'm starting to get psychic soldiers. Like, I've got my, like, top tier operatives that are all max level that are able to actually kill some stuff, but whenever, like, I walk into a room and I activate, like, 3 overlapping pods of, like, berserkers, it's kind of still bullshit. You don't want to spoil it for me? Yeah. I'm just gonna assume, like, they've got to have, like, a big, like, reveal about the backstory of, like, everybody, even though most of it's, like, stuff we already knew. Well, I kind of figure I know what's going to be. Like, who doesn't get one is what I want to know. Like, who gets... I'm guessing it's Koromaru. But, like, that's all I really want to know is, like, which one of them... Because there's not enough doors. Like, we're missing one door. Unless I miscounted. Let me go back and double check. Oh, wow. Okay. And you... Because, like, we got the one that we're in here, and then I'm pretty sure we've only got 2 more doors. Because we got, like, this one here that we have to finish, and then there's this here, so that's 2. And then there's this here, that's only 3 doors, and we haven't gotten a backstory thing for Mitsuru, we haven't gotten one for Yukari, we haven't gotten one for Fuken, we haven't gotten one for Koromaru. The 2 that I think are most likely candidates are Fuka and Koromaru. Fuka because she's not, like, one of your combatants, like, so she might not count. Oh god, my laptop's doing something. So maybe she doesn't count for that purpose. And the other one is, like, Koromaru, who, like, we kind of know what's going on with Koromaru, but, like, maybe they would have, like, a scene with his previous owner, the priest or whatever, but, like, they've got to have... I don't know. It feels weird to me that they don't have enough doors for all the teammates. Oh.
Good day. Here are my requests. Wonderful.
I think I actually just leveled one, but nice to know that that counts.
Very well.
Also, I'm not 100% sure, because I, like, did play this, like, in the original sort of, on the old, like, PlayStation or whatever. I just don't remember it very well. And I'm not actually sure. I don't remember 100% if I beat it or not. Oh wait, shit! I need to actually leave. Whatever. I need to find a teleporter. Looking forward to some Sins 2 DLC when it comes out. Eventually they're gonna supposedly have another faction, so that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I quite like that game still. Yeah, we're just leaving. Guy disintegrated right behind me as I took that thing there. All right.
I'm here for you, sister.
The question is like, how do you like? Because what I understand is like what I've heard is that supposed to be the things that are chasing the Visari is what the new faction is going to be, and like I don't know how you would really write that compellingly because you either write it so that they're like balanced around the fact that they're the things that are like chasing after the Visari, and you could do the sort of like wussy thing of where you make it so that they're like the vanguard fleet of them that are just on like the scouting recons or whatever. So they're kind of really weak or whatever compared to their main fleet or something like that, which kind of feels like a sort of cop out. Or you make it so that they're like actually dangerous to the Visari to the point where it chases them from like galaxy to galaxy or whatever, which would make it so that they're like way scarier than everybody else or something like that. Or you make it so that they're balanced gameplay wise, in which case it's like, why are the Visari running from these? They should have just like fought them. Oh. Alright. Well. I should be able to beat this anyway. Okay, not if it's going to get that. If it gets that kind of thing, then maybe we're not going to beat this. Very high chance that this is still Zio. The concentrate is going to make this the hard part, because it's going to hit me hard enough that we're potentially going to just die, but whatever. I did just save, so it doesn't really matter. I haven't seen this yet. I wonder if this is actually any good. I kind of feel like this can't be that good. That looks cool, but yeah, the damage on that's not that good. Or Geo mode would definitely be better, I feel like. I should have switched to something that's immune to fire or repels fire or something like that. I might have heard rumors that are wrong though. Like maybe the new faction has nothing to do with the people chasing down the Visari. Ouch. Okay, well that was a waste of their concentrate, so that's good actually. One of the things that is like sort of true that is kind of fun about Sins of the Solar Empire is that they are very derivative. So like you can kind of guess what they would go with based on like just other IPs. I'm just gonna see if this works. I don't know, it worked okay. Not getting a shuffle time sucked though. The question is like, what source are they gonna rip off for the next faction? Because like they do tend to do that, and I don't mind that at all.
Oh, there it is. Pay attention next time. Should be a good test of your strength.
Probably darkness.
My persona's ready. Just watch.
Small chance that's fire as well, if I recall correctly, for these guys. They reflect wind, okay. The problem here is like if I pick something that's got a good darkness attack. Actually, no, this is perfect. It is not darkness. Oh shit. Okay. Now it probably is fire then. Ouch.
And now,
Zio? Nope.
I can take care of this.
Gonna try ice.
Now
It's ice. Okay. Yeah, that one feels like that was just out of left field. I have no idea why that's the case. All right, whatever. Sure. We'll do this. I have to remember to go bring like Mitsuru and Koromaru into a fight for well, I guess it doesn't matter too much, but I have no idea when that runs out.
Ooh, a treasure chest. Let's make this quick. They're weak, but
I kind of wonder though, like if the new species is hidden in the
have to try something else.
is somewhere hidden in the like neutral factions, because they could be something that gives us a hint what it is.
Can't
Ow.
afford to lose. In this situation,
Negative type attacks don't scare me as much as like elemental ones, honestly though. Alright, let's do this first maybe? No, let's do this. Just in case something like that happens. That's why we're doing it the way we're doing it.
I'm hit. This is my resolve.
Okay,
Persona,
okay, we'll pass that along to you.
engage. That's strange.
Well, shit.
Hold still.
This point in time, we're kind of just getting, like, raked over the coals by RNG here.
I can't go down just yet. Yukari-chan, are you okay? What? The enemy down. Enemy down.
Good God.
Well done. Let's
Alright, well,
and now, weapons free. Take that.
yeah, I should actually look up why my XCOM is crashing as much as it is.
Underestimate me.
Where? Oh, I didn't notice this didn't end here. Okay. That looked like a wall from where I was standing.
There's a treasure chest over there. Sister, I found it.
Found what? Alright, no teleporters yet.
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
This place didn't have as many of those random dead ends. It feels much more like the
I think I'm getting stronger.
hallways are like designed to actually just lead you along to the exit, which is kind of interesting.
Persona's ready. Just walk careful.
Although I probably just haven't found like a very large variant of these floors here. It's much less maze feeling, this place. Alright.
Now's the time. Come.
One thing about this guy that I would love is if
Focus.
I could actually use my abilities the way I want it. Alright. If I could dizzy him, it would be, like, quite good. Alright. Please dizzy him so I can drain your SP. Maybe if I charmed him I could steal his SP. That actually hurt quite a bit. Alright. We're gonna be able to, like, beat this guy before he has a chance to kill us, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna use Gyrodyne here. Let's see if that works. So I feel very strongly that our next... Actually, let's do this. I think that's about the same damage as the Bufudyne. So I think what I can do is I can get away with doing a this, and then this. This thing does actually have an SP bar.
Will this work?
And then we can probably finish it off this way. Can you actually make it so that enemies have 0 SP? And do they actually have to spend it to cast? It looked like he did, actually. I thought it was specific set enemies that had, like, limited SP bars and all the other ones had, like, unlimited, but do they actually all have to rely on casting SP naturally? They don't lose any hit points, though, when they use physical attacks, so...
Filthy monster.
Okay. I lost it. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It feels not worth doing that still.
We have the upper hand. This should be a good test of your strength.
Let's see here. These guys are Bufus. They're probably fire. These guys are definitely physical. I'm gonna go ahead and do a Makoga. That guy reflects that. Okay. SP? Please? Nope. Alright, that works, though. This might be a huge waste. Yeah, not bad. I'm feeling this is likely... Nope. Oh yeah, no, it works. Okay. All that's left is this guy. Kind of glad he's chosen to use Megiddo. I might want to actually get him with another... Let's do this. Oh no, that killed him. Shit. Well, whatever. It's fine. Absolutely. Whole party HP restore, that's fine. I think that's going to connect back up. This is actually the largest variation of this like tile set that I've seen so far. And even it's not that maze-like. It like actually loops back on itself in a way that makes it so that like you don't dead end here. Is the important thing. Ice, okay. It's actually quite a lot of SP that you get from that. You know, one of the things I think that actually makes it difficult now I think about it is that I feel like the Visari are really, like, kind of built around, like, kind of the Predator culture to a certain degree. From, like, you know, Predator, Alien sort of thing. So, like, what would you have them being chased by? And if it's bugs, that would be really boring. Because, like, there's a ton of things where it's like, oh yeah, there's bugs and they're, like, chasing after things. So ideally it's not that, but I feel like it might be. Let's try this one. That actually takes a pretty sizable chunk of their SP. I don't know. I can get away with just going now. I don't need to keep doing that. Damn it. Okay. I shouldn't have hit that guy at all there. Yeah, and I didn't get the... That's fine. Those guys aren't even actually a, like, red enemy either. They're just regular. Okay, crap. Do I think the teleporter is all the way at the back here in that little spot that I missed? So I've been looking for a teleporter this entire time, technically. I'm honestly kind of used to teleporters being kind of near the exit, where it's like you kind of know where both of those are. Oh, we got one of these instead. Okay. This area looks actually really, really nice. Like, the design of this is quite interesting here. Like, this kind of looks like a cube. The inspiration for this feels like it's very much that, like, Cuban mecha kind of thing. But then you've got, like, the Renaissance, like, European stuff, and then you've got the picture of the atom. Like, it's very incoherent as far as, like, the theming goes, but... yeah, not too sure exactly what I think is the strongest influence on this place. These hallways are quite narrow. It's a little bit of an issue. It's not the easiest to juke around the enemies here and just get through it. Getting closer to strong enemy presence. Not far away now. Maybe this area doesn't have teleporters.
Leave it to me, sister. I'll beat all those shadows.
You are the one who is, like, lowest on SP. Zio. Alright. Yep. Nope, that's fairly straightforward. And also a lot easier... What are these guys doing here? They're, like, so badly outclassed. Okay. Oh, I didn't need that. It's already full. Shit. Alright, good enough. Okay, this is actually something I quite wanted to get on this guy. I don't know if with what I'm doing I need this, but I'm actually going to get rid of Nazianga. Concentrate there. That's fine.
Sister.
Not now.
Oh, that one looks important.
I don't want to spend any more of my stuff here.
Have you seen that door before?
Okay, we got all maxed out theurgy gauges. Let's just do it. I think... What do I think is more dangerous? The beetles or the scale? It's probably the beetles.
Yes. Just watch.
And then the last guy's dangerous because he gets rid of my valuable homunculi, but
Time for a fight.
whatever.
Too bad. You dodged the attack. Nice one.
Yeah, this guy is annoying as hell.
And now,
Gonna save Ken's for the beetle fight.
In this situation,
Potentially a real problem. That is a real problem.
Aegis is formed.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to do this. That really sucks, but whatever. Now, for her, I can go ahead and switch over to Succubus. Ragiant down the other guy. But more importantly,
I can do this. The enemy was unaffected.
got the charm off against the person I care about.
Successful.
Now I don't have to worry about getting status effect every 2 seconds. Alright.
persona's ready. Pull the trigger.
Okay, so with this done this way, like, I think this fight's actually pretty straightforward. Just have to wait till we get the cross knocked over with a lucky critical.
And a follow-up. Summoning.
And I don't really need to do anything. I'm just gonna do this. Ooh, okay. I don't think I actually can get this guy to run out of. I don't think I can get him to run out. Okay, he's hitting Ken with Aegis,
And now,
which is not ideal. It's like he dodged that one, but still.
What is optimal?
Yeah, like this guy has got so much SP that he's never actually going to realistically run out. Which, you know, fair enough, I guess.
This is my resolve.
There's that fear status effect. I think he's probably immune to that though, because that causes you to lose SP if I recall. Or that might have been that might have actually just been in metaphor. All right, what do I do about this guy? I kind of hate fighting this thing. Yeah, that's fine.
keep it together.
Gonna have to start chipping down that other guy here a little bit. It's not our goal to kill him quickly, but we're gonna have to do some damage to him. It's been too long.
What next?
I think we'll use Aegis' ability here. Try and get the knockdown. Then if we get that, we'll switch over to fire and then knock out the other guy, but we might also just knock them both over all at once, but... There we go. Okay, and okay, we got everything we needed. That's gonna be really good. Right on the nick of time too. All right. He's gonna be able to get back up, but
I can do this.
I don't think that's gonna matter too much at the end of this.
No.
No critical on that. A crit on that might have actually been enough to down him.
And now,
Thank you very much.
pull the trigger.
Just gonna get ourselves up to full health before the next fight. We should be able to kill him with Aegis.
Appreciate it.
Probably even before with just Metis here. Yeah. Alright, Beetles. Nope, this guy next. Okay.
Darkness has no effect on this enemy.
I don't need to do anything fancy for this guy, I don't feel like. Him actually having a weakness for once is all I really need. Do this to make his darkness attacks less likely to hit. Oh, jeez. And that's why we did that. Okay. I don't have a ton of SP left for Metis. It's gonna be a problem.
Keep it together. I have to do this.
Thank you very much.
Yep, not this again. Oh, wait. Okay, that's fine. Alright.
I can do this. Guide us to victory.
Part of me wants to swap out after seeing that, because I didn't remember myself being weak to darkness there. Guess I should have paid more attention to that.
My voice will become my strength. Well done.
Man, I've been getting these pressure headaches because it's been like going from like plus 20 degrees and like sunny out to like snowing every day, and it's like a wild swing. It's a huge temperature swing, and it's happening like every day. It's terrible. All right, so this will keep him suppressed for one more set, but I think we're pretty much fine here. Oh. Shoot. Okay. I kind of have to undo that to a certain degree. Do I not have Mataru Kaja? There we go. Just get us back to level. Alright. So we were kind of saving up for this one. I'm just going to go ahead and do this right away here. I could have waited until they hit me once, but like if I get double crit by death, whatever, I'm going to be really mad about that because that'll basically instantly kill us.
In this situation,
We can also do this.
it'll all be okay. Together we can't lose.
It's kind of what we were doing, is just saving these to like blow them all at once.
Summoning.
It was nothing, and it was fire, if I recall correctly. But we were going with this, and we were doing this. Just to get the other guy.
It didn't work.
I should have done the fire attack first, actually. Doesn't really matter too much, but...
This is for you, sister. You better brace yourself. Charging complete. Maximum power.
Okay, well that's nice.
Well, let's get an enemy down and a follow-up.
Okay, I haven't seen her do a critical attack while she was in RGM mode. That's actually a really interesting animation. I quite like that. She's really going frenzy mode, it looks like, when she's doing that.
My weird next. I think I can use it now. I won't lose.
I'm gonna get through a bunch of these charged attacks that we've already got here. Oh, right, he blocks that shit. Well, that still worked, so, you know.
This is my duty. My enemy's on Aegis.
Alright, should be able to blow through this here. That hit really hard. Okay.
Now's the time. Come.
This should kill him. But I'm out of major arcanas.
No shadows detected.
This might have actually been kind of a waste to go in here. Never mind, that was a lot of experience points.
Oh, hello.
And I guess there's a little treasure here. Getting all these Chokers of Anguish. Probably find one that's got some really good stats. Torso of Anguish. Sure.
Thank you.
Alright, let's see what that's like. Plus 5 magic, plus 30 SP. That's actually really, really good. That's likely better than whatever we had before, so... stick with the new one, Blade of Anguish, that looks like it's for Koromaru. Legs of Anguish. Kind of don't want to open that. I'm not going to bother. This little area is kind of neat, actually. You'd look at this and you'd think that this would have water or something in it, but instead it's got like these little drawers here. I don't know. This feels like it would be more complete if it had benches at each of these sort of intersections here. I don't know. This is the first sort of area that looks like it's sort of corresponds to a place that could be real to me. A lot of the other places look like they wouldn't really fit into reality very well. This place looks like it to a certain extent could. Like, not that obviously, but let's see here.
It's an enemy.
There's no teleporter again.
That strange figure could show up again at any moment. In fact, I hope it does. Let's keep going, and maybe it will. Oh, there it is.
Okay, let's just grab the stuff and go.
Treasure chest.
Looks like there's nothing that impressive in here anyway, though.
Look.
Yeah, it could have been definitely better, but oh well. Since we're just running past the enemies, it doesn't really make a huge dent in our time here.
It's an enemy. Do we attack?
Sister, a shadow.
It's an enemy. Do we attack?
Not having dead ends to worry about actually does help quite a bit with this.
Scanning for hostiles.
Okay, teleporter? Nope, not yet.
My legs are gonna be so muscly after all this exercise, even though I've been trying so hard to stay slender.
You know, muscles, you couldn't hide leg muscles. Oh, thank God, teleporter.
We should go back.
Okay, so we have to go grab Koromaru and Mitsuru, and then just go to a level 1 place, and then, like, grab some levels. Yes, please. Come on, let's have you swap with Metis. And then Koromaru, you're coming with us. You can replace Ken. And then we're just going to pop in here. Oh yeah, I should probably give them, like, any new equipment we've got for them.
Great.
Because we probably have some. Yeah, we got this. Sure. You know, I feel like we don't need to remove her fingernails to equip her with any of these things. I feel like that's unnecessary, all things considered. Well, whatever. I'm gonna keep the ones of anguish since that's the higher level ones. We'll keep those for actually people that we're running. So the Blade of Anguish, plus all out attack damage. I wonder if all the whatever of anguish is that bonus, because they seem to all actually have that. Dog Suit of Betrayal, Poison Boost. Let's do this one for this set. Might actually... I don't think he can ever actually have anything other than... Okay. Alright, of course it's a gold hand when we got the crew that doesn't really need it. I don't even think I really care, because these ones don't give you very much. The ones on these floors.
The enemy is wide first. 2 enemies.
We actually have slashing for once. She just described that as like such a violent power. I feel like that's what she said. Woof, woof, woof.
Good. This will make me more effective in battle.
Okay, Ice Boost. I don't need Mary Karen anymore. I can have that replace Fatal End. I don't really feel like Tentarafu is that great anymore. But I also think that Neuro Slash is also pretty bad. But I guess if I'm going to have them, I'm going to get rid of Tentarafu and keep Neuro Slash because it's kind of both. Okay, so Virus Breath is poison. I don't really need Fatal End. I don't need that. And we'll just do this.
Perfect. Just what we hoped for.
And then I just need a teleporter out of here.
Bit of an
And I don't... whatever, let's just go for it. We can also kill it really easily, so like it doesn't matter that much.
Enemy. It'd be great if we can defeat it. Such a violent power.
That is what they said, such a violent power. Interesting.
It is time.
So I should be able to actually do a Spirit Drain first, and then loop back around and use Lightning again the second time.
This is my resolve. I will miss next time.
Damn it.
It is time.
Still net positive, but, you know, still very annoying.
Victory is at hand. Onslaught forward.
Well,
Teamwork has won the day.
That was excellent leadership. Keep up the good work.
alright, these guys. I don't have to care about that. Okay, whatever. Teleporter. Not gonna do that door. I don't need it. Okay. Why are we seeing so many gold hands? I don't have the lovers. I'm not even... I don't care. Alright.
I realize this may be a bit of an awkward time and place to say this, but I'm glad you're here, Yukari. It's been too long since we've last seen each other.
You're right, Koro-chan. I guess I haven't seen Yukari-chan in a while either.
Interesting dialogue there. I have to see if there's a thing that they say if I have a team that's all guys, because I remember that they mentioned they call you out if your team's all girls in the other one. I think it's actually Aegis that calls you out. I should check that, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. So we're going to switch back to what we had before. Oh wait, no, you're... Metis, there she is. All right.
I'm here.
It's maybe a time for us to try and go to the boss and then see if we can fight it. I think that we'll probably be able to beat it given how we're doing right now. Unless it's another one of those like bosses that just kicks our ass for some damn reason. Where are we going? Okay. Some more dead ends than I've actually seen in most of these places. Alright.
Look, a treasure chest.
Golden tomato sprout.
Shadow here.
Interesting.
Shadow here.
Oh, we can go down.
There he goes.
Human-like figure again. I wonder if it has some sort of purpose here.
Kinda. Alright, so we got the teleporter, and then we got the descent into the abyss. Let's go take the teleporter first. Come back and then descend into the abyss. Save me just a few seconds if I have to go back again. Alright, let's see how we're doing. This will be a good litmus test again to see if we're doing well or if we're way behind. I don't have the most theurgy gauge here, though.
If that figure is summoning these shadows, I guess it's an enemy. But then, why does it seem so similar to... Anyway, it still seems like it won't attack. So focus on the shadow. You can do it! We won't hold back. Watch out, they're strong. Keep it together.
Alright, what do I think is likely the things here? Koga for the one on the left. Maybe not, then? They block it. Okay. Ow. Let's just do this. I don't want to waste any SP here, so we're going to go straight to Deathbound. Well, evade slash, but who had that? Alright, well that sucks.
It is time.
Okay, one of you is weak to lightning. That one. I'm feeling like this one might be weak to fire. I'm gonna do this again. Nope. That's also weak to fire. Okay, well... Piercing? They reflect that. They are Bufu, but... Okay, well that sucks. Alright, what is going on with this damn bird? Garu? Slash... God damn. Alright. Okay, so that guy is a problem. Well, at least we did some damage to that guy.
Thank you very much.
Actually, I've got an idea.
In this situation,
I want to get Yukari's thing charged up first, though, and then I'm going to use the big darkness thing. Yeah, I agree. Quit moving. Damn it.
I can do this. Something else doesn't seem to be effective.
I'm wondering if this guy's weak to, like, even more elements. He probably is. But that's not really that relevant for us right now. I'm just going to do this right now. I'm going to pass that to Yukari. We're going to use Tranquility.
It'll all be okay. Together we can't lose. Keep it together.
Then we use Yanga on this guy.
Excellent.
That wasn't charged up to Yanga. It didn't do very much damage.
Damage inflicted.
No freeze, though. That's the important part. Alright. My SP is super low, but it was already pretty low coming into this fight, and the drain did not help at all here.
How can I help my sister?
Okay. So I don't particularly think that this is likely to be specifically good, but I forgot to switch to Succubus. Nope, didn't get it. Damn it.
This is my resolve.
I don't think that they're susceptible to it, though, so I don't think it would have really mattered. Alright. Oh, wait, this guy has Hound. I think we'll be okay, though. Yeah, we'll be fine now.
Now.
Oh, shit. Alright, I'm guessing this will work. No. Shit.
What should I do?
Bufu? Huh. It's really all or nothing, this guy. There goes another homunculus. That sucks.
Summoning. Do not make contact.
Okay, well, you know,
Pursuit.
that's very annoying. Alright, got it.
I think I'm getting stronger. Good work out there.
Hermit Tarot. Aegis max SP plus 7. Okay, that's really good. Okay, evade lights. Given our team, I don't really need Magarula. It's just not necessary. Strong enemies are no doubt dangerous, but I love that I get to see them and face them with your face them at your side, sister.
I thought so too.
I know what you mean. There's nothing quite like fighting alongside other people. I was really impressed by everyone's teamwork and camaraderie when I first joined you all in battle. Oh, really? Huh, I guess everyone feels the same way then. Oh, but don't get me wrong, sister, it's extra special when just you and I team up. We don't do that, though. You should befriend others, too. It's really weird when you only have one friend. It's actually kind of sad. Okay, if you say so, sister. How am I supposed to react to this? Alright, other way first. Okay. Oh god, this is expensive. Oh no, this is so expensive. Oh no. Okay, well. Goodbye all my Twilight shards. RE custom parts. Resident Evil custom parts? Non-fiction novel. What's a non-fiction novel? Hero's Cape. You want that, Amata? It's probably for Junpei. Oh, no, it's just... Alright. A cape that captures the imagination of children. Amata loves it. But apparently he prefers his waistcoat of anguish, so... Null Confusion is kind of okay, but, like, that would be for very specific situations there. I don't really feel like we're in that right now. I'm gonna forget I got that, though, when I need it. But, whatever. Spice set. Okay. That looks like all of them. Alright, another door down, another boss beaten. Let's go get those parts installed.
Hi.
Found more parts, right? Would you like to have them installed?
Yes.
Okay, everything looks great. I'm sure you'll be able to make good use of this enhancement, Aegis. What's this do? Ambush has been enhanced. What's that even mean? While dashing, you'll automatically destroy breakable objects upon collision. You're now able to crumble breakable objects while exploring. While in assault state, you will destroy breakable objects simply by making contact with them. Keep in mind, however, the shadows will not be affected by crumble in any way. So I guess this is just a faster way to move through the dungeon when you're trying to get... Okay, that's not that important, I don't feel like. What are you guys yammering on about? I wonder if that figure we keep seeing has some kind of motive, and if so, what could it be? Still don't know what that figure's motives could be. I can't deny it's been weighing on my mind. But our current objective is to explore the abyss of time. We should keep moving. There's Junpei. Is he the spice set or is he the non-fiction novel? And who else is there? Okay, Yukari is probably the non-fiction novel because she's by the bookshelf. Oh. We'll do this first. Okay.
Hey there. Hey.
I've been reading this non-fiction novel and it's really good and getting good. Maybe we can read together. Are there any books you've been meaning to check out?
I see.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now. Oops, sorry, sometimes I think aloud when I read. What are you reading, I guess? What's it about? I don't actually know like which of these are actually supposed to be true canonically, but I'm guessing that, you know, whatever you say is the one that is actually true. I feel like this is probably true for Aegis. This feels like Aegis is an Aegis answer. I never would have thought you'd be into that, given the other kinds of stuff that you read. She's trying to use this as a template for a standard schoolgirl experience of what she should be doing. So now she needs to go out and, you know, fight monsters in the name of justice and love or something like that.
Hey.
Storm sure has all kinds of books, huh? Everything from casual manga to super complicated stuff. When we picked up this book in the Abyss of Time, it reminded me of this place. And how I never really read any of the books here.
Hey.
So I kind of thought, maybe now's a good time. Gotta make time to take breaks once in a while, right? Like when we watch that show together. A lot of the others used to read here, right? Fuka, Mitsuru-senpai, him too. It's kind of relaxing even just watching them from a distance, but I could never bring myself to just walk up and ask to join them. But yeah, when they took breaks, they were definitely getting something out of it. So I guess I'm trying to follow the example or something. Probably sounds kind of dumb, huh? It's good to follow examples. If they're good examples. I don't know. You can join me anytime. Huh? Ah, okay, thanks. I wasn't really expecting someone to just come out right out and say it, haha. So anyway, yeah, let's just take it easy for a little while longer. I mean, we have got an infinite amount of time here, so yeah, that's it's good to spend time. Healing Apex. Reduces the SP cost of recovery skills 25% of their normal SP cost. This is why, you know, Yukari is a great healer. That means they're going to have to work twice as hard earlier to make up for it. Of course. Yeah, we'll have more time to relax after we get out of here. Actually, we have more time to relax while we're in here. We should, in fact, get as much relaxing done while we're in here as is humanly possible, because we will never have as good a chance to relax as when we're in here. Alright, where's Yukari gone off to? She might have new dialogue over there, and she does not. Alright, Junpei, what are we doing with those spices? Oh, Ai-chan, are you free at all? Want to do something fun? I'm actually not so sure I can do this on my own. You think you could help me out? Sure.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, you're a lifesaver. Found the spice set in the Abyss of Time, right? So I want to try cooking. Never cooked in my life, but I think it'll be fine. Let's head to the kitchen pronto.
Wait, seriously?
Huh. People make cooking look so easy. I thought I could just whip something up. Lickety split. Hey, Ai-chan, is cooking actually really hard? It is not. I'm not sure myself. Yeah, I don't got a clue either. I like how whatever's in the pan is still just smoldering as they're standing there. It isn't lit though, so they did turn off the heat. Whatever, besides, it's way too early to throw in the towel. If I give up now, then the only thing I manage to do is fail. Come on, Ai-chan, let's put our heads together and turn the dang tables, yeah? Sure, yeah? What have we got in the pan there? What is on fire currently? Hell yeah, we got this in the bag. Now's my chance for a heroic comeback. The funny thing about cooking is that, like, recovering from a mistake is actually something that requires a more talented chef than, like, just not screwing up in the first place. So if you screwed up and, you know, you're not very good at cooking, then you're probably just doomed. Whereas if you really know what you're doing and you screwed up, you're more likely to be able to actually just fix it. Eat this. You're gonna eat that? Okay. Damn, can't believe I actually turned that disaster of a dish into a tasty, chunky curry. That Rouge sure was one hell of a miracle worker. I know Sanada-san told me to be more realistic, but you can really turn the tables in an instant. It's certainly possible. Did he just throw it out? If your roux is smoking, it is ruined. Like, you can't recover it. If that's what they were burning, then, yeah, that's it's gonna be a curry that tasted like charcoal, but, you know, maybe that's what he's into. Maybe some folks prefer to pull back and try again later because maybe they're confident they'll succeed. Then again, like, roux is so cheap that you would just try again from scratch, so maybe they threw it out.
So...
That's not recovering it anymore, though. Not so much, I just kind of panicked. Like, I gotta do something now because there might not be a next time. I guess that's why I like those ultimate attacks so much. They just turn things around in just one move. Maybe I'll be strong enough to pull one off wherever I want someday. Just use unlimited theurgy spam, that would definitely make the game easier. Seems Junpei-san experienced an epiphany. Greatly raises critical rate and greatly increases critical hit strength.
Hell yeah!
Well, I'm stuffed. How about we put all this away and get going? Thanks for hanging with me, Aegis. Alright, well, does Junpei have some new conversation topics after that? He does not. Okay. Let's head to the mall and get our plants done. I want to see what that golden tomato is. We'll get that planted right away here.
Take your time.
Yeah, these are the same here. I'm going to get 2 of these. And hand over seeds. We want the golden tomato sprout. We'll grow a tomato that ensures vitality.
Please. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I've got About half hour. I could actually probably head into the abyss and just get some more distance. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything like specific on this run. But we can definitely chuck through and probably get to another, I don't know, something. Maybe if I skip the floors, I can finish this up in a half hour, get to the next next door.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, that's the...
That figure keeps just sending shadows after us and then running away. I don't comprehend.
It's called cheese strats, Metis, and it doesn't work if people can level up. Because every time he does that, we just get a little bit stronger. Yeah, now we're stuck back in this, like, purple hellscape, and I kind of hate it. Alright, Metis says she doesn't know what the dark figure is, but is that really true? I know we have to take her word for it, but I'm still uneasy. Ah, I'm sorry, I lost track of it again. Maybe you can find clues further ahead. Please do what you can to track it down.
I feel a bit uneasy.
You know, it's trying to lead us to these epiphanies about ourselves through the,
It's an enemy.
whatever the hell. Alright.
The scenery has changed again, and we just defeated a strong enemy.
Okay, I kind of want to try this,
That's
but
somehow related.
being able to actually find stuff to run into and just, like, bash into it like that, I'm not 100% sure, like, what the point of this is. I don't really feel like that's helping that much. Because the steering is quite bad. Ow. Like, hypothetically, I'm wondering if it could be used to, like, get around shadows and get past them so that I can,
Aegis is down! This is bad!
like, get the money from those things while running from enemies, but, like,
I'm still setting up.
I don't really feel like that's a great choice. Alright, these guys are probably weak to piercing then.
Rejoining the front lines.
I need to swap out personas. This is clearly not a good one. This guy would be.
This one.
Missed.
Right, well,
Hear my prayers. Let me help you all.
alright, I need to get Dakaja these guys.
I have to do this. They won't use.
So Metis is gonna have to do that.
Thank you for your support. Now
Maybe they'll just reboost themselves though. Alright.
I'll end this. Here I come.
Is this a critical or are they weak to this? Yeah, they're weak. I kind of figured they would be. It's always interesting with these birds because they have piercing, but they're also weak to it. Which I feel like is very bird-like in the sense that they will peck at you, which is piercing, but they also can be like shot with an arrow or something like that. But you can shoot most things with an arrow.
Happy to team up with everyone.
How fast do I have to be moving? I think I actually have to have that blue before I can actually bash into these as well. Yeah, this is a really dumb ability. I don't think that that was particularly well done. It needs to have like a something else added to it, I think, before that really helps out. Or maybe it's the level layout doesn't help us here. I don't know. I don't particularly like that one. I'm gonna skip this. I'm just gonna skip this monad door. I don't really need it right now. We're just gonna try and rush straight to the ending here. Oh well, that's convenient. Shit, dark floor. Okay. If they ever put the crystals in a way that lets me see where they are, the twilight fragments, then
What are you thinking?
these floors would be a bit better with this ability, but I still don't really think it's great.
Bet we'll find something good in there. Let's open it up.
I have to get out of here before death shows up.
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
How many floors have we explored by now? I haven't exactly been counting.
I've been keeping track this whole time. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, looks like we can go down here.
I'm not surprised that Fuku was counting. I was kind of wondering who it would end up being. Were you able to figure out where that thing went? Apologies, but I haven't been able to zero in on its location either. Oh, but I have new information on the layout around here. The floors end not too far from where you are.
Let's get
It
going.
would be kind of nice if she actually told you how many floors you've gone through. I know why they didn't have that. It's they just recorded the one voice line and they didn't have to write it for like every floor that that dialogue could potentially pop up in.
It's kind of nice getting to move around this much again. I've basically been doing nothing but studying lately. It made me feel so sad.
But like they could have made it so that on a very specific floor, she'll ask like, "How many floors has it been?" And then they would instead of having it randomized, like it's just a very set floor. It's like floor like 92 or something like that. And then Fuku would be like, "We've been through 92 floors" or something like that.
I thought I heard him say something like, ooh, me, ooh, she. Me would be Sonata-san in this context, but who's she?
Yeah, I did not follow that dialogue at all. And that doesn't get recorded. That's unfortunate.
That's our way forward.
Yeah, I'm missing out on a ton of stuff doing it this way, but that's fine. I don't really need this stuff. Emerald's nice. I still need diamonds, though. So I need Club Escapade to be open. Oh,
There it is.
where'd it go? There it is. Soul Spinch Sprout. Those are 1,200 each. I don't know. That's actually not that cheap.
What do you think?
Okay, well, never mind. That was actually really fast. I thought there'd be more stuff impeding me. Still don't know anything about that mysterious figure. I told myself it would be different this time. Well, anyway, everyone is looking is headed towards you. Take a look around and see what you can find. I feel very strongly that this one is probably going to be Mitsuru. That's my guess. Did all the guys first for some reason. She's got the, like, she looks like Teto.
So this is Tartarus from the inside. This is only the second time anyone has come here without special equipment. Normal weaponry is useless against shadows. Anything you brought provides little more than peace of mind. Everyone here has had their potential developed in our labs. That alone should suffice.
Then what are we doing with all the weapons that we bring along?
Though, should you get devoured, that would provide us with valuable data.
Is that our school nurse? I feel like that might be our school nurse. He like cut his hair and grew out his hair a little bit, facial hair a little bit. He's got the same vibes and posture.
Is there anyone left in the Ergo division who isn't a psycho? In any case, sir, are you alright with this? I mean, with bringing your daughter here.
Well, let's take your daughter to work day, so I guess I have to.
I don't mind at all. I myself requested to come along.
Okay, we need the other two so you can like sing triple backer or something like that.
You heard her. My apologies, sir. I over...
Well, my prediction on who this one was going to be is right.
What's wrong? What the? It appears we need to conduct further research in artificially developing the potential.
This is probably where
Stand back.
Karijo loses his eye, is my guess, but
So that's a shadow.
You little...
they just told you guys.
Sir! Miss!
Oh no, he's already missing an eye. What did he lose his eye from then? Didn't have an evoker.
Did you see that? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh,
Interesting that she didn't actually summon her persona there. Where'd it come? What?
it's a persona. I was right. People
Where is her persona though?
them. Mitsuru.
Father, I'm glad you're safe.
Oh, that was wonderful, Miss Mitsuru. Of course, you would be the first one to awaken your potential naturally.
Is she the first one?
With this, the future truly
It's possible that she is.
bright.
Why the hell are you celebrating? Now Mitsuru will be condemned to a life of atonement.
Nah, she would have condemned herself to that anyway.
She'll spend her prime years bound to our vile legacy. And you call that bright?
Don't worry, Father. This is what I wanted.
See, she would have done something like this anyway.
I will protect you.
Mitsuru.
That was Senpai's.
Hers, I think, is the farthest back in time so far.
Oh, yes. Well,
How can we change the hairstyle? Fit you.
Senpai? What's the matter?
I'm sorry. It's
She's probably thinking about how she wasn't able to keep that promise.
seeing my father as if he were still alive was.
Senpai.
Aw, wasn't Kirijo Senpai just so gosh darn cute when she was younger?
Read the room, Junpei.
Excuse me, Iori. Are you saying that's no longer the case?
No, that's not what I mean, you're just so, come on, cut a guy some slack here.
Is that so?
What?
It's just as I thought. Of the past events we've seen up to this point, the first one seemed to be about getting ready for battle. But the others... how should I put it? There seems to be some aspect they all have in common. Don't you all get that feeling too? At least... a little bit?
Just a little bit, yes.
We've reached the 5th door now. We should be getting closer to the source. Oh, I just remembered. There's something I have to tell you all. Remember the equipment and documents Kirijo-senpai found?
Oh, shit.
Most of them were...
I looked at them. It turns out there were things that Sherman hid when he was still alive.
from the accident about 10 years ago. He must have hidden them to keep them from being destroyed. And some of the notes seem to mention the abyss of time.
Oh yeah, well that's convenient. Totally not a retcon of things that, we've already done and looked through, whatever. Okay, sure.
It won't be long before we discover what this place really is.
Yeah, I mean, at most it's gonna be a day.
Truth. Then we should press on.
Automatically get ousted out of the place, unfortunately, but whatever. Guess I need to push my limits even harder. Rough.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Koromaru. Hey, listen, I was just thinking. What do you say to a little exploring? Just you and me. It might make for decent training. Arf, arf.
Well done.
Heh, ready to go, huh? Glad I can always count on you, Koromaru. Koromaru's just thinking, oh boy, walkies. So do they disappear from the party for a little bit? Oh no, they come back, okay.
Yeah.
Phew, that was really tough on her own. Should have figured. Whimper. Don't get me wrong, I'm not beating myself up over it.
Hey there.
That was only so much I can handle by myself. Not like I can think fast on my feet either. No matter what's in front of me, I always come out swinging the second the bell rings. Gone through this exact same thing before, but I guess I just forgot. Was it after he got weaker? No, it must have happened way before that. Severe electric damage to 1, ignores resistances, high chance to shock.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for this, Carmire. Sorry you had to put up with such a moron. Woo! What's interesting is I feel like there's negative synergy between him and Mitsuru. Next physical attack will deal more than double damage for all allies, so he's like the physical version of what Yukari does.
Perhaps.
Hang on, was there something waiting on your mind too? I had no clue. You just look like the same old handsome devil to me. Earth. Well, should we start heading back? Don't tell Aegis or Mitsuru about any of this. They'll be our heads if they find out we went out off exploring on our own.
By the way,
There are 7 doors in the desert at the start, meaning we have to clear 7 different areas.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
shit. Yeah, we're nearly there. Now it's time to step it up, guys. Let's press on. I used to think this would take forever, but now there's only 2 doors left. Yeah, again, I'm really confused. I'm really wondering which of the people is going to not get their story resolved, which is bizarre that they've done it that way to me. Maybe they'll do 2 at once. I don't know.
I suppose.
I've had to protect my father, but I couldn't even manage that. Every time I want to protect someone, I lose them. But no longer, not anymore. I guess you lend me your strength. To be fair, they might have been goners like way, way faster if you didn't help protect them. So you know.
Do you have a minute?
I thought I understood how serious a problem the shadows are, but maybe it's even worse than I imagined. People getting caught up in accidents, having their minds consumed. What even are the shadows? I also wonder about that.
What is that?
And it's so weird that only Persona users stand a chance against them. Do you think Personas and shadows may be related somehow? Yeah, but, you know. Makes you wonder what it's like to have been born into a prestigious family. To think she was fighting shadows at that young of an age. Shinji and I don't even remember our parents' faces. It was painful, but in a way that makes things easier for us as well. Especially considering the burden Mitsuru must have had to shoulder.
Sister!
We explored over half the doors by now. You can see how those memories are all connected. There's still much we don't know about that mysterious figure, but let's keep pressing on, just a little further now. So with those freaky doors that show the past, we've seen Amada, Sanada-san, me, and Koromaru and Kurijo-senpai. Wait, when did we see Koromaru? Oh yeah, because Koromaru was with... I don't think that should count. I don't respect that at all. Yeah, so I guess they're counting like Junpei's as Koromaru's as well. That doesn't seem right to me. And for the reason this thing exists, then I wonder if there's a door for each of us. That means there's how many left? Nice thinking about it now. Let's just get in there and open those doors. There's actually 4 people left, but you know, Metis and Aegis I don't think are going to count for that. But do you remember what Metis first said about this place? She said the Abyss of Time was originally a small, self-contained space. That actually might be true. It matches up the information in the notes we found. I guess she was telling the truth this whole time. That doesn't mean she's telling the truth about everything, but at the same time, you know, I don't see why not trust her. Pant Pant. Koromaru-san seems excited, I think. Okay, looks like everyone was down there for once. I don't know.
I think.
Feels so long ago now, but I used to not really like Mitsuru-senpai very much. It's like I thought I was the only one going through stuff, and I had all these assumptions that made her out to be the bad guy. Sigh. I miss those times. You know, when things were simpler, I could just blame Mitsuru for everything. Seems to be what's going through her mind a little bit, but whatever. Let's see here. Oh, I did miss one. Alright. Well, I think we don't have much time to do much. Let's go to the mall. Get that all done. Wait, really? Huh. Well, alright. Guess we'll talk to Elizabeth.
Marvelous.
10 Twilight Fragments, wow.
Here are my requests.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced I really care about getting all of these done here. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to. Okay.
Very well.
Do I want to check out the fusions, though? I should at the very least do the registry.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Velvet, oh Velvet, my master has a long nose. There, surely you now find yourself more at ease. Keep in mind that you cannot simply rush your way through such tribulations as these. Please go forth at your own pace. Okay, well, at the very least, register.
Registering. Will you register it to the compendium? I've completed registration. Now then, let's begin.
What kind of persona?
Let's see here. We're at level 62, so we could actually get literally everything on the list here.
This persona is powerful.
Kurihime. Emery to Shower would be kind of nice to have.
This persona is powerful. This would be a wise choice. Is this acceptable?
I'm actually not used to Mott having a weakness, I feel like. But he probably usually does. I don't know why I think he doesn't.
Is this acceptable?
Who would have Invigorate 3? Like,
Is this acceptable?
I'm not sure who
Is
gets
this
that.
acceptable?
It is a special persona you desire, is it not?
This one is somewhat beneath you.
Who am I losing for this? I'd be losing Eligor. I probably don't care about losing him. Do I care about getting Floros, though?
This one is somewhat beneath you.
Probably not. I need to get rid of some stuff here.
What kind of persona do you desire?
This persona is powerful. This would be a wise choice. This would be a wise choice.
I really wish I knew who got Giant Fist.
This persona, yes? This persona, yes? Is this acceptable? This one is somewhat beneath you.
Ah, this guy does. Okay, you know what? Alright, fine. Patra, we'll take Cruel Attack here.
Well then, shall we begin?
Not allowed to learn Lightning, unfortunately. My name is Komokuten. I shall be your all-seeing eyes, protecting you from all demons. What a weird looking design that is. It's probably a reference to something. Hellbiker. I don't remember this guy existing. Is this new? Well, either way.
Have you all the elements you need?
No. That's fine, though. Okay, so we got a guy. We'll try and level him. That'll take a little while. Alright, where's the next door? It's all the way over here.
Hi.
Seems the farthest floor you can explore Ptolemy is floor 25. You should be done exploring this area. Should we try another door? Okay, so we just got this one, and then after that we just have this one over there. Just two left. I'm guessing we're going to find that these two are both 4s. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so there's 3 with 3, there's 2 with 2, and I'm guessing the last two have 4, but maybe not. We'll find out, I guess. But in any event, we're going to switch games now. I don't think I can accomplish much important right now, and I'm not too sure I want to after having gone through as many floors as we already have. So I did pick out which game I'm going to do. This is going to be a bit of a weird one. I have no idea if this is any good or not, but we'll find out together. Alright. I do like the music is this weird like jazzy kind of thing. It feels like a lot of games are doing that. XCOM is crashing for me too much right now, so I definitely cannot do that. So the problem with XCOM right now is like I'll go into a mission and there's like a 50% chance that it crashes, and I can always recover it. Like it's never been a problem because what I can do is I can go back to the save before that, and I can sort of fix it through that. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce. So I'm playing this. The reason I'm playing this game, and I sort of mentioned that I got this a while ago, was because like I do want to sort of like just see what the hell it's about, because this is a like Phoenix Wright with magic. And I'm wondering how the shit do you do Phoenix Wright with magic? And then I remember that there's actually a lot of magic in Phoenix Wright games. But like if the crimes are being done with magic, how are you supposed to figure that out? Because like, oh look, it's a crime scene. A wizard did it. Great, fantastic. How do I know? But yeah, XCOM right now, it's like it crashes when I jump into a battle, about half the time. So what I have to do is I have to go back to the save and I have to reload, and it'll send me to a different level where it's like a 50% chance that it like crashes again. And I keep doing that until I get to one that it doesn't crash. So like that's been my current XCOM experience. I cannot play that on stream right now. And there's a decent chance that it's going to become less stable as I progress, because it has becoming less stable. The other thing that's happening right now is the AI is tweaked out. Every time I'm playing an XCOM mission that is the Exalt Cell ones, the AI completely freaks out. Like, it will not try to move towards the objective that I'm trying to defend against. So it becomes an exterminate mission, just a standard exterminate, which is really mediocre. Especially because it's just the enemy, like, literally glitching out and teleporting back to their spawn zone, and then, like, moving from there, and then they'll teleport back to their spawn zone and then move from there. So their action is like completely predictable because I can see them for some reason through the fog of war doing this. So the Exalt missions are completely like unstreamable because they're so glitched. Yeah, so my XCOM playthrough, like I'm still playing it, but it is it's breaking and I'm breaking, and I'm not sure which of us is gonna fully break first. But yeah, no, it's been like that. Anyway. Yeah, so we're gonna see what the hell this actually is. If this is a first-person shooter or something like that, and it's not what I think it is, that'll be interesting. The reason I actually picked this game is because, like, the reason I like Persona games so much is there's that sort of break between having the dungeon exploring and the turn-based combat battles and stuff like that, and then you go back to the sort of more social elements. And what I was doing was I was playing XCOM, which is a turn-based battle thing. So I was going from one turn-based battle thing to another turn-based battle thing because there's none of that role-play conversation stuff in episode Aegis. So you don't have that. So hopefully this is like Phoenix Wright and it's just talking. You're about to start the cold-hearted aristocrat. Okay. This is the first one, right? I didn't accidentally do anything there. In the kingdom of Weavengard, there's a gulf between what was lawful and what was just. Artificery ran in the house of aristocrats. Disease and vermin ran through the homes of the common folk. People suffered, people died. Also, the mages of the nobility could keep their plates full and their lives comfortable. Nevertheless, they still wanted us to have the illusion of hope. They challenged us to win, leaving out the fact that they were the ones setting the rules. Mages stood up their hands, and none could blame them. You can never lose if you never played. That's not true. So you can definitely see that this is just a flat-out copy of Phoenix Wright so far. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. They were driving by the McCoy Tavern where we heard a disturbance. Word that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. That was when I saw the defendant, lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. She has stabbed Flintheart, and her sword was shining with magical energy. I wonder how they are able to do this without getting, sued, which would be very funny. Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so. Yes, I can never forget it. It was burned into my memory. I see. It's funny that you say that. What? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. Well, what? At the same time, though, while I can't imagine how we're going to figure out who the criminal was if there's magic, I also wonder, like, why couldn't you just use magic to figure out who the criminal was at the same time? Like, there could be, like, statutory laws that sort of prevent that from being used as the primary means because it's something that could be interfered with, I guess. But, like, I don't know. We're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Steelman, think about the state of the crime scene. I have no idea about the state of the crime scene. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Maybe the rules and institutions were impossible. Maybe it was just a grain of sand trying to stand against an ocean. But I would never stop rising, no matter how many times they tried to drown me. You can't drown sand. Sand doesn't need to breathe. I would do it again and again if Meta could give hope to even one person. That is why I fought. Class warfare? Sweat was soaking through my suit. The air of the countryside was choking me. I followed with the leather reins, tugging at them tightly. Horse. Where did this idiot learn how to drive? Occupation. Horse. Age 5. Arcane art. None. It would have been very funny if the horse actually did have some sort of arcane art. That would have been... Animals are funny like that. You never know it, but you're constantly making your objections known. Have you seen the original, the one with the Japanese attorney in London and Sherlock Holmes? Is that the original? I did see that existed. I didn't know which of those came out first, if I'm totally honest with you. I did see that, though. Sherlock Holmes is one of those ones where, like, that's actually in quite a lot of stories, is that they'll use Sherlock Holmes ever since, oh god, what was the... I should remember this. Joker's persona is named after the guy's stories. Well, whatever. The original, like, Phantom Thieves sort of stories use Sherlock Holmes as the name because they had to get around copyright law. So there's actually a lot of stories with that. But, yeah, I didn't know if that one was before this one or if this one was before that one. Either way, they both look really weird. I caught many complaints like that through my Eye of Horus. Are we part of the Illuminati? Cuthbert, keep the carriage steady. Hey, tutorial lady, are you going to die a terrible death? Let's see here. Occupation, attorney, age 46. Arcane art, none. You're trying to tell me that that lady is 46. Okay, sure. And she's not using magic. My mentor and legal guardian. She raised me after my mother was killed and taught me everything I know about being an attorney. Yes, Miss Timora. My mentor barely looked up from a runestone. She was staring at some magical projections. Probably some court files from a case she was working on. So your magical smartphone, got it. I stared longer than I should have. I passed the legal certification exam, which only meant that a runestone of my own was coming my way. I just had to prove myself, and this trip was the perfect opportunity. Dissidents was bringing the countryside, and we were on our way to meet one of the voices of the revolution. The villagers were driving to us nearly at the edge of the eastern border, far from the capital city and the kingdom center. Ah, so it is class warfare. Got it. Okay. Here we ran the risk of running into the military forces deployed to silence voices like his. Whoever this Flintheart McCoy was, Miss Tamara's business with him must have been worth all his trouble. Miss Tamara, maybe you should switch with me. And what would you learn if I did that? Maybe I was worried about nothing. Practical experience was always a key part of learning whatever she was involved. Why else would she quietly sit there, immersed in her court files? Child. Occupation. It would have been great if it just said occupation child. Did that rock just scream out in pain? I grabbed the reins and pulled them with everything I had. The horse slowed to a stop. Child was lying face down in the dirt. A puddle of red was pooling under her. Scaled Lord. So are we going to have to defend ourselves from the, malingering claim from the small child who was run in front of our carriage, gotten injured, and is now going to sue us for everything we've got in an insurance scam? I wasn't sure what to do. I wish I'd never procrastinated reading those first aid books. Looked to my mentor. She'd approached the scene quietly and slowly. Her eyes went to the child, then the surrounding forest. She seemed to be searching for something. She was wearing the same expression she used when inspecting a crime scene. Why would a kid be out in the middle of nowhere? Miss Tamora? I say we keep driving and never speak of this again. It's not the first? Interesting. I feel like it's a concept that probably came out multiple times, shortly after Phoenix Wright did. Because Phoenix Wright has copycats. Phoenix Wright has copycats. But, yeah, no, I think I know what you're talking about. The main character is the ancestor to Phoenix Wright. Isn't that one of, the newest Phoenix Wright games? I think that's one of the sort of newer series of it, ironically. But Miss Tamora, she's just a child. Oh, the pain. I can see the light. That's a guy. Alright, that was his cue. A kind of puzzling thought through my eye of Horus. Late to his cue, a man clad in plate armor leapt out of some nearby bushes and stumbled towards us. He planted his feet firmly on the ground in front of us, puffing out his chest. By the Scaled Lord, look at what you've done. The Scaled Lord? I think I can see him. My family, who all died of the plague in 589, they're also there. His lines were historically accurate. Mentioning that plague is overkill. This poor child, she's dead because of you. This is a serious crime. The fine is 10, no, 20 gold pieces. They're probably aristocrats visiting House Pierce. Okay, so we got our equivalent of, like, Phoenix Wright's little thing that looks into people's hearts or whatever. 20 gold pieces. The average sentence for vehicular manslaughter is 2 years of imprisonment. Yeah, but it's not manslaughter. That's not a man. It's a child. So, obviously, we should be getting off easy. In the Kingdom of Windgarden, the average sentence for vehicle manslaughter is 2... Okay, there's no fine. I'll have no choice but to arrest you unless you can pay this fine. Oh, that's what this is. Side-eyed child, apparently named Alma, spotted the tiny tomato seeds in her pool of blood. Might want to call someone to retrieve Alma's body, then. Her eyes opened, her head whipped up to look at me. It's got a mock jury in it? That's a good point, because, like, the justice system, like, in old London was quite different. Oh, actually, no. Is it that different? That's the sort of, like, period where they were starting to formulate the type of legal system that we still have today. It was quite different, but it's actually got some... Well, to be fair, also, the judge in Phoenix Wright is really incompetent. So, kind of is just anything goes. So, her eyes opened and her head whipped up to look at me. We locked eyes for a second before her head fell back to the ground. Looked to my mentor again, but she just leaned her head and gestured towards the two con artists. Appeared that I was being given another learning opportunity. I couldn't complain, though. I didn't appreciate being treated like an easy mark. Let's see here. Miss Janice, from the very beginning, I felt like you've been hiding something from us. And then you've got this person's psychological profile. Oh, that's actually Yanis. Okay. You start an argument. Defeat your opponent by lowering their confidence. Picking the correct options will do damage to your opponent. However, picking the wrong options will do damage to your confidence. Use context and clues to determine which option to pick. So we've basically gone out to the side of the road and somebody has leapt out of the brickwork and has said, change my mind, and with a big sign or whatever the hell. And now we have to engage in discourse. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Anyways, what will it be? You'll be taken to the barracks. Will you pay the fine, or do we need to sort this out of the barracks? During arguments, you'll sometimes be asked to pick one of 3 possible dialogue responses. The correct dialogue will depend on the context of your opponent's claim and their psychological profile. Well, I can't see his eyes, so I don't know much about there. Can I save? Man, okay. Well, let's see here. Certainly, why don't you bring us back to your barracks? What? But it is strange that you'd bring us back to your barracks instead of the dungeons. You'll also probably want to call your unit to escort us. After all, it'd be dangerous for one knight to transport 2 criminals by himself. Shut up, don't think you can talk your way out of this. You'll pay the fine for your crimes. Are you seriously going to make you take you in? Just pay the damn fine. During arguments, you'll sometimes be asked to present pieces of evidence in response to a claim. Look at your opponent's claim carefully and present the item that contradicts it. Do we have... Oh yeah, okay. Wait, how do I... Except a crime like this wouldn't involve a fine at all. What? Vehicular manslaughter has an average sentence of 2 years of imprisonment. With the death of a child, though, I can see the crown pushing for more than that. I feel like it's an orphan. They probably would actually be like, it's fine. Who the hell are you? I'm a defense attorney. I could cite every one of the kingdom's laws back to you. That is not true. Lawyers do not memorize every single law. The knight looked nervously between Miss Tamora and me. What they'll do is they'll review, like, a large amount of case law, and they'll review, like, the specific laws and the specifics for the actual case that they're dealing with, and so that it's fresh in their memory, and they'll actually know the specifics, but that's it. His hand shot to the rusty sword hanging from his side. fumbled with it a bit before pulling it out and waving it at us. I took a step back. My mentor put herself in front of me. I use violence if I have to. During arguments, your eye horse will show your opponent's thoughts and emotions after they make a claim. Compare your opponent's thoughts to the claim to pick the correct option. Okay, so I feel like empathy works here. I started his plate armor. On a closer look, it seems to be varnished wood, painted to give off a metallic sheen. Reached past the sword and knocked on his breastplate. It let out a hollow thunk instead of a resonating clang. I didn't know the kingdom was coming back. Would this even protect you in a fight? Are you threatening me? For litigation, perhaps. I have a sword. You won't use it. Look, let's just cut the charade. Nothing's happening. Argument 1. Successfully win an argument. Okay. Alma rose from the dead and began wiping the rotten crushed tomato off her shirt. I mean, possibly. Probably. This is like kind of like all the Phoenix rights, I would imagine, because they all kind of work that way. You know, I need to figure out who that one that I've been seeing on some of the promotional work is, where they've got like a magician for some reason. That seems interesting. I'm saving an actual, like, canonical, real Phoenix Wright game, though, for when I do my summer vacation, which is coming up. I've decided not to do this one for my summer vacation one, though. But the next actual real one is going to be one of those ones where I do, like, a stream and try and beat the entire game in one sitting without going to sleep. Which I'm probably getting too old to do that sort of nonsense. It probably was never actually good for me, but, you know, we'll see how it works. So I thought that stuff about the plague would help. Don't worry about it. It's still morning. Someone else will come by. The road's been empty for days. What if we're the only ones? Okay, that statue is excessive. King of Weavengard, established 16 to 13 years ago by the Seven High Archmages, ruled by King Olivier and the mages of his nobility. Olivier does not sound like a guy's name. The often preached that our large kingdom was land, prosperity, and happiness, a nation where its people shared the wealth and succor created by its magic. Here. So apparently we're past the era of the Duke of Sandwich. Okay. I took out a neatly wrapped sandwich from my satchel and held it out to Alma. I like how the guard can just get stuffed. Well, what? You'll probably find this more filling than porridge, or a rotten tomato. The man narrowed his eyes, praising me like the knight he'd been impersonating. He snatched the wrapped sandwich from me, peeling back the bread to inspect its contents. His mouth salivated as he caught a whiff of the sliced deli meat. No poison to be found, apparently. He handed it to Alma, who eagerly began munching down it. Why would we bother poisoning them? I was probably the first person to share any wealth or succor to them in a long time. Just tell me one thing. What gave it away? What do you mean? Spent a while sanding this armor down. Had to go 3 attempts just to get perfectly smooth. I even mixed the paint itself. It's got the sheen and everything. How do you know it was fake? Clearly went for woad matter and willed for your paint. I'm also guessing you used a touch of gal ink for the shadows. They're decent choices if you're going to paint a shield, but they're useless if you're trying to mimic the complex nooks and edges of plate armor. I don't know. Who knows? He just blinked at me. Seriously? Plate doesn't tint that way. Real plate catches the ambient light and cold tones. Mix is a little too warm. Shook his head wide-eyed. Cuthbert, is that stuff about the paint really true? No, I just read it from his mind. Does you see the look on his face? I can't understand why my mom enjoyed fortune-telling so much. She said nothing in response. Her eyes locked in my satchel, now 1 meal short. I'll be fine. They probably skipped a lot more meals than I have. In case you've forgotten, they were trying to scam us. If they really want to hurt anyone, they throw away that fake armor, just use the sword. Should be helping our fellow commoners, right? Isn't that why we practice law? No? Well, you're a defense attorney, so maybe, but generally no. Just don't expect me to share my lunch with you. Spent a good 15 minutes haggling for those sandwiches. Why did you have to haggle for sandwiches? What kind of attorney What kind of an attorney haggles for sandwiches? For 15 minutes? How much were those sandwiches? You make, like, probably more money than, like, a million sandwiches are worth in, like, 15 minutes. What are you talking about? Do you even need to haggle? It's a matter of principle. You give anyone an inch, it'll take a while. Alright. Yeah, I'll try enjoying this. I'll see what it's like. I'll see you on Monday. Okay, well, we arrived at Cornhaven, but I smelled the stench before I even spotted the village. The smell of rotting meat and excrement hung in the air, and I had to fight the urge to retch. Did my best to swallow my disgust. I've been begging Miss Timor to take me on her outings for years. I couldn't show weakness now. Why is there rotting meat? You'd think that wouldn't be very common in a village like this. Are you okay? I'm fine. I was just surprised. Do you expect the ruling lord to install modern plumbing in a village like this? Guess I never really thought about it. I'll get used to it once you've traveled more. This is just how things are in the outer regions. It really made me appreciate the clean and sanitary streets of the capital. The streets and homes were loaded with artificery. They had clean and running water. We had lights that didn't rely on oil and flame. It was as if this village existed in a different time period. I feel like during this time period, these sort of places would not particularly smell worse than most of the larger cities, because a lot of the larger cities would still have a large number of the poor there. And they would still be, like, dumping stuff out windows, or they'd have, like, night soul carts or something like that, which would make it quite a bit ranker than this place, where they probably have the ability to dig fairly large trenches for waste. Because there's enough room for that, and they'd be able to actually utilize that as compost. Whereas, like, in the city, they don't do that. There's also the fact that, like, larger cities, there were a lot of industries during this sort of time period. I think what this time period is supposed to represent. And they made it smell like just really weird stuff going on, but I reprimanded myself. I wasn't above this. People here were commoners, just like me. They only lived like this out of a lack of care from the kingdom. Take a left here. The tavern should be at the edge of town. Like, they should be able to still make their village somewhat sanitary. It'll still smell like horse dung, but, you know, that is going to be a different issue. It's going to smell different than what they're describing. Unless they've got pigs here. If they've got lots of pigs, then it's going to be terrible, but, you know. Is this really a meeting place for dissidents against the crown? Flintheart done an amazing job of disguising their headquarters as a rundown shack. Tavern's been shut down for a few years. Nowadays, Flintheart McCoy just uses it to host his rallies. Hey, you lot. The McCoy Tavern is closed. The distant leader stormed towards the carriage as we parked. He had a roughness to him that matched the state of his tavern. He was practically growling at us with every word. He got close to Miss Tamura's face, his feet firmly planted on the ground. She was unflinching, of course, standing around as he leered at the two of us. I take it you're Flintheart McCoy? What's it to you? Flintheart McCoy, unemployed, age 52. That's 52? Maybe? I don't know. Leader of a revolutionary faction in Cornhaven and the owner of the McCoy Tavern. He seems to have an extreme grudge against mages and the nobility, but that sentiment tends to be common nowadays. Sorry for not writing ahead of time, but my messages weren't getting through. I'm Ruby Tamora. I've been trying to get in touch with you, Flintheart. What? His eyes narrowed a bit before widening recognition of the name. Wait, Ruby Tamora? Why don't you say so? Come on in. Stone flipped to jovial and instant. Now it was as if you were greeting an old friend. I was surprised people out of nowhere knew who she was. I'd have thought her infamy had only spread in the city. I guess he acknowledged her as an ally. They both had a common enemy, after all. The proletariat or uprising, I guess? Alright. I don't know why the lawyers would be helping with that, but... Excuse me, miss. We haven't exactly seen a lot of guests. It's fine. My mentor looks around warily as she brushes aside a spiderweb hanging in front of her. So what brings you here? I doubt someone like you has anything to see out here. Well, my clients have been trying to talk to you. We have a proposition that you'll be interested in. I raised my eyebrow at her. This is the first time I've heard of this client. Is there anywhere we could talk in private? I have a bunch of empty rooms upstairs. Didn't they say this place was abandoned? Perfect. Cuthbert, stay here for a moment. Don't you need my help? There's no need for that. How's there no need? The Hive Horse could extract anything she needed from him. That glare overruled my objectives before I could get it out. Without another word, they went upstairs. Drummed my hand on the dusty table, looking around the tavern. Definitely had a lot of personality if one counted dust and insects as character traits. Faint murmurs echoed from the ceiling, slightly stressed. It sounded like the conversation was becoming more frustrated. Brought a small chessboard from my satchel. Even after a decade, it had served me well. Chess could be played with one person, something I'd always taken advantage of. Not... what? What? I had a match with the Duke of Commerce scheduled in a few months. I wasn't too worried about him, but I might as well take this opportunity. Checkmate. I lost again while playing as white. That was 3 times now. Oh, I get it. This is a magical setting, so he probably has a magical chessboard that plays the other side for him. Oh, hello. Statistically, white was more likely to win, so why was I performing better as black? Probably a practice bias. I was becoming overconfident as white because it had an advantage. Hello? That very advantage could be affecting my choices and make me play suboptimally. Well, you've got different starts on each side, so like you've got different things to consider. If a personal quirk was making me play like this, then I needed to identify and correct it. Hey! Ah! Nearly toppled out of my seat when she tapped me on the shoulder. Stepped back and flashed me a soft grin. Her body swayed playfully, amused by how flustered I was. Her posture was unguarded. It was as if she never felt threatened in her life. She was holding a large exotic sword in her right hand, but I barely even noticed it. As her warm and bright aura was washed over me, it pulled away any tension and unease I might have felt. Sorry, I was distracted. You know the McCoy Tavern is closed, right? But if you're okay with keeping things off the books, I can prepare a room for you. No, that's fine. I'm just waiting for my mentor to finish speaking with Flintheart. Oh, someone's talking to my dad? Your dad? I'm Flintheart's daughter, Celeste. Let's see here. Celeste McCoy, occupation mercenary, age 19, the only daughter of Flintheart McCoy. She's cheerful and sweet, and also a little intimidating. She has no nose. She's clearly one of the Final Fantasy Tactics mercenaries. I'm Tyrion. Nice to meet you. Do you know when they'll be done? I want to show him something. Mumbling upstairs was becoming more frustrated. Celeste tilted her head as she looked at the ceiling, but soon she got distracted by my chessboard. Wait, this game is chess, isn't it? Are you playing against someone? Oh, I was playing by myself, actually. Oh, playing alone helps me hone my strategies. Plenty of professionals do it. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm not the type to shame a man for playing with himself. That look says otherwise, ma'am. She just chuckled as she drank in my reaction. I looked away before clearing my throat. Have you ever played it before? I've read about it in some books a while ago. Ugh, this room is always so dusty. She sat down in the chair opposite mine. She brushed off some of the dust on the table with her sleeve and began sitting up her side of the board. Where does the horse go again? Checkmate. Only took 2 moves. She'd fall into a classic trap. That requires some doing to fall into that one. I felt a little guilty, but my mentor always said that failure was the best teacher. Wait, what? Already? How did you do that? Said against tell her the name of that mate. She just grumbled under her breath as we both moved our pieces back into place. It's called Fool's Mate. So what kind of business does your mentor have with my dad? I'm honestly not sure. She doesn't really tell me much. I think it has something to do with his distance against the crown. Sorry, should I not be saying that out loud? It's fine. She stroked her chin as her hand moved and hesitated over each of her pieces. She hadn't realized that she'd been led into another trap. ICBM? I don't know. She moved her knight into position to attack my queen. She blocked my initial assault on her king, but... Checkmate. Scholar's mate this time. I actually don't remember what that one is. Wait, how do you keep doing that? Play chess? What do you mean? The more you play, the more you're able to recognize specific boards. You'll get the hang of it in time. She just glared at the board. Glanced at the ceiling. Miss Tamora and Miss Flintheart's argument was only getting worse. Didn't sound like they would be done anytime soon. Figured out what the problem is. Is it that you keep mobilizing your pieces without intention? It's food, Tyrion. I need food. She stood and stomped towards the kitchen, but not before spinning around back to me. We're not done. Don't you dare leave. A few minutes later, she returned carrying a gigantic slab of cooked meat on a small plate. Okay, I'm not normally the sort of person who says that, like, hey, your steak is raw to people who undercook their steaks or cook their steaks rare, because I also like rare steak, but I think that that steak is indeed uncooked. Well, whatever. I stared at it for a while, wondering if she was planning to eat it all in one sitting. She began setting up her side of the board with one hand while holding a fork and knife in the other. Are we going to invent the sandwich? We already ate one, though. She was somehow twirling both utensils in her right hand, switched between them. Yeah, the sort of thing that you definitely would not be able to animate, which is why they're, doing this in this format. She delicately carved a small bit of meat with a knife before spinning to a fork to bring it to her mouth. She swallowed her head at me and swallowed the bite whole. What? Meat is not the sort of thing that you want to... Okay, whatever. Hey, it's your move. Right. A lot of questionable things going on here. For someone who had never played before, she was quickly improving with each game. That is generally how that goes as you learn the basic rules. It took me a while before I even noticed, but she was adapting my strategies and trying to use them against me. She caught me unaware a few times. At this rate she was learning, she could easily surpass a naturally ranked noble with enough practice. I mean, yeah, that is the point of practice. You keep practicing, you get better. Checkmate, but I'd been playing this game for far longer than she had, and I was ranked far above the average noble. She just narrowed her eyes at me. How are you always one step ahead of me? It's like you're reading my mind. I could, but I never allowed myself to when playing. I'll get you this time. She began placing the pieces back in place when my stomach groaned loudly. Celeste blinked at me, startled for a moment, then she giggled. Excuse me, have you eaten anything? No. She looked around for a moment before her eyes went to her slab of mystery meat. Do you want some of this? We have a lot. No, I couldn't possibly. My stomach reprimanded me with another loud rumble. Against my protest, she spun the knife in her hand and carved a bit of meat. I started to playfully wave the fork in front of my face expectantly. Do you have another fork? Come on, don't be like that. I wanted to object, but I was too hungry to argue. I just bit down on the fork. That was when I felt the jarring texture. The meat was tough and fibrous. I had to consciously chew through the leathery sinew, lest I choke on it. I'd never tasted such a distinct greasy tang before. I realized I'd never actually asked where this meat came from. How is she eating this so quickly? How is it? Well, it's certainly unique. Yeah, bear meat is kind of weird like that. Bear meat is supposed to actually be something that you can definitely eat. Like, it's fine, apparently, but it is quite gamey from what I've heard. I've never had it, so... I don't actually know if it's supposed to be that tough, though. As I questioned every decision that led me to this point, Mrs. Timora and Flintheart came down from upstairs. My mentor's face was stoic as always, but some frustration bled through. That was never a good sign. Hi, Dad. Oh, hello, sweetie. Flintheart's expression lit up as his daughter rushed over to him. My mentor glanced at the chessboard on the table. She never really took an interest in chess, but she knew that I had been undefeated since I was 10 years old. Chimera Squad looks a bit different. So, I was thinking about playing Chimera Squad, but I ran into the problem with regular XCOM, where it's doing what you were describing Chimera Squad was doing, which is it's crashing a lot. Basically, every time I go into a mission, I've got like a 50-50 chance that the game crashes. And then I have to like load back into the game. I have to go to an older save. I have to go back into that date so that I get the battle again. And it sends me to a different one, whatever. That's fine. And then it has like a 50% chance of crashing. So I'm guessing that there's something wrong with the way that they've optimized their older games. It's not getting along with my hardware or something like that. Probably in the same way that yours is doing that. And the other thing I realized is that like the reason that I like Persona games so much is that you go from like the turn-based dungeon crawling RPG element, and then switch over. That's hardcore. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I'm still playing XCOM 1. Like, I'm still going to try and play through my whole playthrough, but it is getting less stable as I play it. But the other thing that I'm realizing is that the reason I like Persona games so much is because, like, I like the fact that it's got that sort of nice mix of, like, the dungeon delving RPG element. And then you go as a Persona game. Like, it doesn't do the normal thing that they do in that series, which is, like, combat and then dialogue, combat and then dialogue. Or the balance is really, really bad because there's like 5 lines of dialogue and then you go straight back to dungeon diving. So I decided that instead of playing Chimera Squad, that I'm going to go and pick up a game that is basically just going to be like doing 2 hours of social links. This game is supposed to be like Phoenix Wright, as far as I can tell. It's like just a knockoff of it, except with magic. I sort of mentioned I bought this game a while back because I wanted to see like how the hell do you do lawyering and detective work in a setting that has magic? Because like you go up to the crime scene and there's like weird fire everywhere and like a dead body and it's just like, yep, a mage did this. It's like, great. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see like what exactly is going on there. So that's the other reason I decided not to play Chimera Squad. I am going to probably see if it is more stable than regular XCOM because they probably have optimized it better than the original XCOM. Or not the original XCOM, but you know what I mean. But yeah, like I'm assuming that if you were having that problem, and I'm having that crashing problem with the first one, it's probably got a similar structural thing because I think they're built all in the same engine. But yeah, I don't know. If my XCOM game dies though, oh no, I want to try I want to try Chimera Squad because I bought it and it's kind of a waste of it just sitting in my library and I don't play it. But yeah, like I am hoping that I can actually beat XCOM without the game like dying on me, or you know, what we're seeing is like a race to see which crashes out first, me or my game, because like my game is getting worse as I progress in terms of like it crashing, and I'm gonna have that moment where I rage out and quit because that's how XCOM works for me. I'm at the point where I've got like psychic abilities and all that other bullshit, and like I'm using the meld canisters for whatever the hell, but I've got mechs and I've got like genetic modifications, but yeah, I'm still at that point where it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm starting to actually be able to kill stuff now, but instead I'm running into the problem of like I walk into a room and there's like 3 stacks of berserks standing on top of each other for some damn reason. Don't feel too bad about losing to him. He's nationally ranked. So yeah, I'm hoping this game is like a lot like Phoenix Wright, but at the same time, I do want it to be different enough that it's like, you know, distinct. But I'm not sure. We'll find out. I haven't actually done any casework, and this one feels like this is going to be much more psychology based. But we'll see if that's actually true. Because if that is the case, then that's kind of interesting in its own way. Trying to get the tells and trying to read people's emotions and stuff like that in regular Phoenix Wright is actually kind of like not that great. But you're much more sort of going off the evidence of it. But wait, you never told me that. I can't believe you'd exploit a newbie. Hey, it's not like we were playing for money or anything. If only. Is that what your suit is for? Are you some kind of traveling chess player? No, chess is just a hobby. I'm a defense attorney. Didn't even know we had attorneys in Weaver and Guard. On the other hand, like, the thing about Chimera Squad is that apparently it is a little bit more soap opera-y, where you've got, like, all the different actual characters, whereas, like, XCOM, you don't really have characters, right? You've got, like, your customizable individual troopers or whatever, and they all sort of just are blank slates that just are professionals, whereas you've got actual characters in Chimera Squad. The game is meant to be super quiet. Like, there's no dialogue, there's no voice acting in this, and I've turned the music down quite low. Just because I'm not, yeah. That's why it's kind of closer to Breach Wizard to you? Yeah. So, you know, we should probably get going. I hate to refuse you after you came all this way. I respect what you're doing, but I won't work with these mages of yours. Mages? Mr. Moore had mentioned that before. Was this mystery client a mage? Anyways, it's getting late. If you leave now, you probably won't get to sit until morning. Aye, she's right. Sparks are crawling with brigands and con men. Wouldn't want to run into one of them after nightfall. To be fair, we ran into one of them during the day, and they seemed perfectly harmless. I guess you have a point. The tavern has plenty of empty rooms. Why don't you stay here till morning? It's the least I can do after you came all this way. Fine, I'm not exactly in a rush to get back on that carriage. Sweetie, can you help me with the... He paused, his eyes focusing on the giant slab of meat on the table. Did you kill another bear? We barely got through the last one. What are you supposed to do with all this greasy meat? Eat it. That's what it's for. How are you even killing these things? It's not that hard. You just have to keep up with them. To be fair, like, if you can keep up with a bear... like, in the long run, you can actually outrun a bear, because they will die of exhaustion before you do. In the sprint, they're way faster than you, and them charging back at you is dangerous as hell, but maybe if it's a brown bear, you could actually chase it like that. Also, she's apparently, like, a dangerous mercenary, so, with transmutation magic. He said he doesn't get along with mages, but his own daughter's a mage. For Lord's sake, you're bloody insane. Oh, why didn't the skilled Lord curse me with a rabid wolf instead of a daughter? This rabid wolf is keeping your family fed. Do you know how many commoners in Weingard are starving? Why don't you sell them the bear meat? Don't talk to me like I'm the child. Two continued their bickering as they went up the staircase. I expect to find a good husband while you're out in the woods wrestling bears. Excuse me, men are lining up to court me. I'm a goddess. Goddess of war, more like. You're always coming home covered in blood and dirt. Okay. So your talk with Flintheart didn't go well. Why can't he understand all of this is bigger than him and his vendetta? I still have one last thing we could use. Cuthbert. Celeste skipped back downstairs, pausing upon seeing the air between my mentor and me. Oh, we're done with your rooms. You can head upstairs if you want to rest up. Right. Thank you, Celeste. This place actually looks a lot, you know, fancier than it has any right to, honestly. And this is a lot of candles. Like, these kinds of candles are actually quite expensive. So if he's an occupationalist person who is running a dead tavern that doesn't have any funds, that's complaining about, you know, revolting, I don't think that he'd have 8 lit candles down a hallway like this. Silence followed us up the stairs until we arrived to our rooms. Mr. Moore's hand gripped the handle of the door, but she never turned it. I'm sorry, I didn't expect our discussion to go for that long. It's fine, I understand. I saw you playing chess with Flintheart's daughter earlier. Was everything okay? What do you mean? You're kind of sore winner when you play. Oh, only when my opponent is a noble. She caught on quickly. She was ridiculously good for a beginner. Playing against her was nice. Well, I suppose you are at that age. No, that's not what I meant. Never really get to play against other players outside of tournaments. You only ever want to play shogi against me. Well, shogi is pretty similar to chess, isn't it? You could probably just play that. Because shogi is clearly superior. They're very similar. I don't actually know I don't agree with that. It's complete anarchy is what it is. You just bring fallen pieces back to life like some kind of necromancer. It adds depth. Dropping adds a dimension of play that isn't present in chess. Both glared at each other silently, but all the tension from before had left. After a few moments, we just burst out laughing. You really have grown up, haven't you? You must have been only 10 when you suddenly showed up in my house. What if you put both the chess pieces and the shogi pieces and had them face off against each other? You must have been only 10 when you suddenly showed up at my house. That was a long time ago. Stayed silent for a moment. I know you're just trying to help. Then why won't you let me? Cuthbert, it's not the right time. I'm ready for this, Mr. Mora. You are. I know you are. That just made me raise an eyebrow at her. Then what's the issue here? Again, she just stayed silent. Get some rest. You'll need to prepare for the journey tomorrow. I went with that thought. I'd completely forgotten that I'd have to wrangle those horses again. I opened the door and fell into the bed inside. It wasn't long before night fell. Between driving that carriage and dealing with those Connors, I was exhausted. I fell asleep, but I felt uneasiness creep into me as night went on. I felt myself being pulled away, brought elsewhere. Chess pieces are definitely stronger baseline. I actually am not too sure how that would actually go, or even how you would make the rules for that. Like, who could drop what? That could unironically be interesting as a throwaway web game, Lamau. Yeah, just you could make it so that you could just drop down like whichever kind of pieces from whichever game. So you could like do checkers versus shogi. Could do chess versus. Actually, if I recall correctly, someone is trying to figure out like how you would be able to do checkers versus chess, and they have to make like a trillion little like caveats that help checkers because checkers literally cannot beat chess pieces because they are stuck on their specific tiles. But yeah, just have one side be chess and the other side be shogi. Yeah, that would be very funny. I don't know like could you like because I do remember that you can actually take pieces that you captured and then reuse them somehow. Like, would you be able to reuse the chess pieces if you capture them if you're playing shogi, or would you just be able to use the shogi pieces if you're using chess? I don't know. I felt myself being pulled away, brought elsewhere. How would promotion work? In every direction I looked, there was nothing, only the glass-like floor where I was standing on. I saw a reflection on the floor. With each step I took, I rippled and shimmered. I knew that I was dreaming, but something deep inside me insisted that there was something real about this. Found. Whispers echoed through the realm. I spotted the small dark silhouette of a person in the distance. She was silently staring at me and murmuring something under her breath. Okay, so I have to keep note of this weird little detail thing here. I think those are hands, and I think they're bandaged, actually. I feel like to keep it true, you would resummon the chess pieces as their shogi equivalent. I guess. It would be kind of funnier if you could just summon chess pieces instead, but yeah. Finally found. She repeated the same phrase, almost like a chant. So I feel like this person is wearing like a standard outfit, but it looks like almost like their arms are pulled in sort of a way like they're wearing a straitjacket. And then they've got these bandaged hands. This is a very interesting silhouette. She looked practically giddy in anticipation of something. Okay, well, you know what? I woke up to the sound of shouting from downstairs. I was right about the bandaged hands, but she's crazy, but she's not actually wearing a straitjacket. Clutched at my chest, my heart was racing, I was drenched in sweat. This was just a nightmare. I tried to convince myself of that. I shook my head. Something else was happening downstairs. The voices sounded like Celeste and Flintheart's, and they were only getting louder. Please, just let me explain. I want to hear it. Definitely weren't bickering about bear meat this time. I want you out of my house. Get out. After that, there was silence, followed by someone storming out of the tavern. The front door of the tavern slammed shut, the entire structure swaying from the force. I lay there silent. What could they be arguing about this late at night? Really wasn't any of my business. The real question is like, what happens when you start adding Go to your checkers, chess, shogi conversation? Like that one becomes very strange because the board starts empty on their side of things. Oh, hello, sweetie. Okay, so they're tangentially related. The last meme chess variant I saw was 5D chess with interdimensional time travel, and that was borderline unparsable. Borderline unparsable. I feel like that would be flat out unparsable. Door creaked loudly as it eased it open and stepped out of my room. The hall was completely dark, not a single candle was lit. I stepped forward slowly, careful not to trip over anything. Flintheart was trudging up the stairs when I bumped into him. I couldn't see his face, but judging from how he sounded earlier, he probably didn't want to. Sorry, right, I forgot you two were. His voice trailed off. Is everything okay? Sorry, I'm just going to. I slipped past Flintheart as I went downstairs. He barely even noticed. I made my way back to the dining room. There weren't any lights in any streets. It was nearly pitch black. Could solve some of the chess puzzles, but once you started checking shit across timelines, I lost the plot. Well, even 3D chess, I'm not 100% sure about because I was never quite sure how to do the setup for that because I've never actually seen anyone play a real game of it. Like, do you have like kings on each of the layers, or do you just put like your pieces in the middle layer at the start, and then they can move up across the other ones in some sort of tangential sort of weird rule based on that? Like, do you have more pieces the more dimensions you add? I feel like you would, but maybe you don't. I should actually look up what the rules for 3D chess actually are because they feel like they would be annoying. I wouldn't want to play it. No answer. I looked at the entrance to the cavern. The door was hanging open. The wooden frame was cracked. I walked through the village streets, but there weren't any lights on. I regretted not taking a lantern on my way out. I heard a squelch as I accidentally stepped on something that was disgustingly soft. I tried my best to ignore it. Celeste? Celeste, where are you? A groan echoed from one of the nearby shacks. The lantern flickered to life from behind the wooden door. An older man stepped out, squinting against the darkness of the light. You got any idea what time it is? He eyed me up and down, taking notice of how I dressed. St. City boy, we like our peace and quiet after sundown. Right, so I was looking for Celeste. Who? Celeste McCoy. She's Flintheart's daughter? Something in his expression shifted. Irritation turned to complete contempt. Do you know her? What do you want with that bastard? So this is what this guy's thinking. Skip 3D to straight to 5D. I feel like you have to start adding dimensions slowly, right? You start off with regular one-dimensional chess, which is just you've got your straight line, you've got your pieces going back and forth, right? So whoever plays, I don't remember which order first wins, because there's only like your pawn and then your king behind it. And then you go to like standard 2D chess, which is what everybody plays, because 1D chess sucks. And then you have to go to 3D chess from that one, and then you can go to 4D chess. And then eventually you can graduate to like 5D, right? And then once they've mastered that, they'll invent 6D chess and continue on upwards. Those two probably woke up half the town with their yelling. Look, I just want to make sure she's safe. Ha, you've got nothing to worry about there. Before I could get another word, he went back to his house in a huff, slamming the door behind him. Just took a breath and continued searching. When do you graduate to interdimensional time travel? Well, you have to decide in that fork in the road is 4D chess, like, is that a fourth dimension in time or is that a fourth dimension in space? Because you could add a fourth spatial dimension, or you could add in the temporal dimension at that point in time. But you could go an infinite number of spatial dimensions before you get to the time travel element, which is like an extra dimension on top of whatever you're doing, right? So you could decide. It's whenever you want to. Garrick Pierce, still have that famous temper I see. Occupation, nobleman, age 38, arcane art, transmutation. All chess is in the temporal dimension. Yes, but it's only in one temporal dimension. I have to add another one into it. You. Honestly, I never understood how you could stand living in this gloomy shack. So, is this guy the guy that gets murdered? Or is this the guy that murders somebody? Luxo. How dare you use that witchcraft in my home? From what I've seen, I'm not the first. You've really been stirring the pot. The Four Pillars don't care what you've been hearing from your rallies. Is that right? I'll be sure to bring that up in the next meeting. For Lord's sake, have some sense, Flintheart. At this rate, you're going to bring Lucio Steelwind down on all of us. You may not value your life, but I will not become another one of his casualties. So he came all this way to convince me to stop? End this foolishness now, and no harm will come to you or your family. You have my word. Ha, your word is as good as the dirt you lick off the king's boots. You're a killer, as if I'd ever trust you. Flintheart, please, as someone who once thought of you as friend, I'm only going to ask you once. Friend? I'll be dead in the ground before I ever call the likes of you a friend. Get out of my house. I don't have time for you. I don't think you'll have much time for anything. Oh no, my water bottle. Damn it all. You stubborn fool, why couldn't you have just listened to me? Let's see here. Broken bottle, he got stabbed from the front. That blade is quite strange. Garrick Pierce. Rudolph. Yes, sir. By the scale of Lord, what did you? You killed him. Alert the Inquisition. Tell them that you saw his daughter fleeing the scene. I'm sure the neighbors heard them yelling at each other. Understood, sir. What am I going to do? Oh, a few hours had already passed, but I finally found her sitting under an old oak tree. She just looked just as tired as I was, probably even more so. Her eyes were wet and red, but she quickly wiped them away with her sleeve, and she stood up to meet me. I've been looking for you. Oh, did I wake you up? I just wanted to make sure you were okay. It's nothing. We argue like that all the time. She wants me to leave. I'm fine, see? She tried to squeeze her lips into a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Should really head back. It's not safe to be out there this late. What about you? I can take care of myself. I stood there silently for a moment. I'm sure he just lost his temper. I don't know that. Mind your own business. Sorry. She just looked down and said nothing before exhaling. Maybe you're right. I wouldn't feel right to let you walk back alone anyway. She walked past me, leading me back to the tavern. What? We returned, but found the tavern surrounded by a knight clad in plate armor. Several carriages were parked outside, and I could see several lights lit within the tavern. Is that the Arcane Inquisition? Inquisition. They're an order of knights who investigate crimes committed using magic. Celeste and I shared a glance. Without another word, both of us ran towards the tavern, but she quickly outpaced me. What? No. She reached the tavern door, and the color drained from her face. Her hand went to her mouth as she stumbled backwards, her body shuddering. Dad? Her voice quivered. Tears began streaming down her face. There you are. Celeste stood there, frozen, a knight stepped between her and the tavern entrance. Celeste McCoy, by the authority of the Vanguard crown, I'm placing you under arrest. Knight tried to grab her arm. It was like something flipped inside of her. She slammed her palm to the knight's chest, his plate armor reverberating as he was launched several feet backwards. Three other knights rushed forward. They tried to grab her and pin her to the ground. She let a guttural scream against them, sounded like a feral animal. It looked like it was taking all her strength to keep her pinned down. It's like she was a completely different person. I stood there stunned before shaking myself out of it. What are you doing to her? Let her go. Tyrion. Thank the skilled lord. Miss Tomorrow is safe. I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Stay over here, or we'll lock you two up right next to her. He left in a huff, following the other knights as they slowly dragged Celeste away. Miss Tomorrow, what's going on? Why is the Arcane Inquisition here? I'm not sure, but Flintheart is dead. What? Sure. Okay. Let's save. Oh, those are weird sounds. Alright. Celeste was going to be detained in Ratholm, Weavengard's capital city. She's apparently the prime suspect in Flintheart's murder. Her case would be pushed to trial within the day, supposedly. They discovered the trace of magic at the crime scene. That honestly just raised even more questions. Mr. Moore and I were determined to get to the bottom of this. The Inquisition, on the other hand, did what they always did. This is ridiculous. She has the right to speak to an attorney. Yeah, well, we can't let you see her until she's been processed. Orem White, occupation, knight, age 64. The grumpy and apathetic leader of the Arcane Inquisition. He's had a personal grudge against Mr. Moore for as long as I can remember. Orem White is the commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Mr. Moore had supposedly run into him many times. Always looked like the textbook definition of someone who was too old for this. Didn't usually accompany Mr. Moore to her crime scene, but the few times I had, he was always there to run interference. He always looked like he cared more for making trouble for us than actually doing his job. So he's not the equivalent of Detective Gumshoe, then. The Inquisition was deep in the nobility's pockets. I'd always assumed that they were paying him to sabotage us. Don't give me that. There's no way you haven't processed her with the trial this close. Yeah, well, unless you can prove it, I don't need to do anything. What's with all this noise? Okay, you look out of place. The commander's back straightened out, a smirk turning into a wince as the girl walked into the chambers. Wherever she was, she must have been younger than me. Despite that, her voice carried the weight of her authority, something which Orem clearly relented to. Her aura was as cold and rigid as stone. Her disposition was probably equally so. Celeste McCoy has a right to counsel, and I know who you are, Rivi Tamora. She turned to Orem. She was almost half his size, but he was practically flinching at her every word. Well, the girl hasn't been processed yet. She just let an irritated sigh as she waved him away. Let them through. What? But let them through before I throw you into the cell next to hers. Yes, lady. Miss Steelwind. Steelwind. Arya Steelwind. Prosecutor, age 18. Prosecutor from the nobility who hails from House Steelwind, one of the four pillar families of Wavengard. She's the daughter of Grand General Lucio Steelwind, leader of Wavengard's blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be our equivalent of, I'm not actually 100% sure yet. Is she going to whip people? We'll find out. She gave me a passing glance as if she was silently appraising me. She walked out of the dungeon without another word. To be fair, though, it could also be the equivalent of that bald guy, because this is probably the first person we play against, I'm guessing? I don't know. She gave me a passing glance as if she was silently appraising me. She walked out of the dungeon without another word. Orm grumbled under his breath as he led us to Celeste's cell. I had to wade through a thickening fog of emotions as we descended further into the dungeons. The collective anger and sorrow of the prisoners was choking me. I'd always hated crowds, but I could never shout the storm of thoughts and emotions that came with them. Turn off the Eye of Horus, or take it off, or whatever. I don't know. I tried my best to keep together. Celeste was going through a lot more than I was. Oh. Celeste was curled up on the cold floor, arms wrapped around her knees. When she saw us, she scrambled to her feet. What are you doing here? I know about what happened to your father. I'm so sorry, Celeste. I still can't believe it. Thanks. Her response came out hollowly. You're the Inquisition's prime suspect in the murder, and they're planning to push your case to trial. You'll be brought to court in a few hours. What? No one told me anything. My mentor scoffed in disgust. She was all too familiar with this. They're planning to convict you before you even realized you were on trial. Celeste, Miss Tomorrow's best defense trained in Wingard. She can help you. You've been supporting your family from your work as a mercenary, is that correct? Did she just say mercenary? We already knew that. Celeste is mercenary by trade. It's a little unexpected, but we already knew that. They told us, alright, whatever. For your financial history, it appears that you can afford my services. How do you even know that? That's not important. What matters is that if I'm representing you, your case is as good as won. You don't even know what happened. Then tell me. Celeste hesitated, her shoulders tensing at the memory. I got into an argument with my dad, and I left to clear my head. Tyrion found me a bit after that. I think it was a few hours after I left. When we came back, we saw the knights outside. That's when they arrested me. Celeste, if I'm going to be your attorney, I need to know everything that happened. What? They found your sword inside his body, and there were traces of transmutation magic around the crime scene. There aren't any other registered mages in Cornhaven. I need you to tell me the truth. I just told you everything that happened. What are you? She looked down, confused, before her face tightened into a scowl. You actually think I did it, don't you? I think I was the one who killed him. Wait, it's tomorrow. Before I left the tavern to look for her, I ran to Flintheart. He was still alive. And how much time passed between that and when you found her? It was probably about 2 hours, which means there were 2 hours where she wasn't accounted for. We can work around that, but the prosecution was still, no, I didn't do this. She's telling the truth, Mr. Morris. Celeste would never do something like this. Cuthbert, you can't just believe every innocent girl who bats her eyes at you. That's not what this is. Well, do you see that she's innocent? Tell me that with certainty. Well, I've got that weird Eye of Horus thing that tells us that information, basically. Celeste was being defensive at the moment, too guarded for me to read anything substantial with the Eye of Horus. I didn't see it, but I knew she was innocent. Look, either way, we need to construct a proper alibi so I can. No, how can I work with you if you won't even believe me? Do you understand the situation you're in? Well, we wouldn't want to construct an alibi if we don't have like a firm understanding of that. You probably want to hew as close to the truth as possible because like made up alibis tend to have a lot more holes in them. I know exactly what's happening. My dad's dead, and whoever killed him is still out there. Don't be naive. You're a commoner. You're lucky I'm even here. There isn't a single attorney other than me who will defend someone like you. Yeah, well, what about him? I blinked, confused for a moment before I realized she was pointing at me. You're also a defense attorney, right? I am, but, you know, he's just a kid, McCoy. He's never even defended a case before. I don't care. At least he doesn't think I'm a murderer. Celeste, hold on. So you can take your attitude and leave. I don't need your help. Fine, have it your way. But when you're staring down the gallows and begging me to appeal your conviction, I'll be charging you triple my rate. Before I could understand what was going on, Miss Tomorrow turned away and stormed out. She reached the door. She looked back at me expectantly. I froze. I knew I wasn't in any position to handle a case like this. That said, I also knew I couldn't leave her to face this alone. My mentor let out a quiet sigh before quietly exiting the dungeon. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in the middle of that. I can go talk to her. I'm sure she'll come back and take your case. No, I meant what I said. I don't want her help. This is serious. Your conviction might as well be a foregone conclusion to the courts. Without Mrs. Tamori, I'll be fine. I know I just pulled you into this without asking. If you want to walk away, I'll understand. I'll figure something out. She talked a few times the cell door separating us. I could have sworn I saw the metal bars bending. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe you will be fine, actually. I exhaled slowly. I knew I wasn't ready for this. I can't stand by and do nothing. I'll take your case if you'll have me. Really? But there's one thing I need you to tell me. The Arcane Inquisition was called to the scene. I have no idea how they even knew that magic had been used, but the presence could only mean one thing. Are you a mage? Yeah, I am. When that villager confronted me before, he called her a bastard. It made a lot more sense now. Do you have a noble blood? What does that have to do with anything? The ability to use magic is hereditary. Almost every mage descends from the nobility in some way. If you have birth parents in the nobility, you might be able to use their influence to your advantage. I don't need anyone else's help. I'm McCoy. That's all I need to know about myself. So you're saying you're the real McCoy, huh? Alright. Seemed best not to push the matter further, then. Even so, that's probably why they arrested you. What? Mr. Tomorrow mentioned it earlier. Town farmers like Cornhaven wouldn't have any other registered mages. It's a good thing you registered with the kingdom. We would just add one extra charge if you hadn't. But they found traces of magic at the scene of the crime. They had no choice but to suspect you. Are you serious? I'll be honest. I'm not sure how much help I'll really be. Miss Tamora said it herself. I've never defended a client before. Is everything really going to be okay? Why would I say something like that? Defense attorneys should be putting their clients at ease. But no matter what, I'll get you an acquittal. Doesn't matter who stands my way, man, king, or god. I think if God stood in front of me, I would be like, you know what? Maybe I should, maybe I should rethink my life choices about defending this particular person. What? Sorry, I used to say it a lot as a kid. No, it's okay. At least I made her laugh. Anyways, take some time to rest up. The trial will begin in a few hours. Couldn't imagine what she was going through. She not only lost her father, but she was also being framed for his murder. This is exactly why I became an attorney, to defend people exactly like her. Well, you'll also have to defend some guilty people, but that's literally part of the job. Stories like hers were far too common, but this time I had the power to change it. She was putting her trust in me. I would make sure she wouldn't regret that. Sure. Still hadn't sunk in yet. I was standing in a real courtroom. Hadn't you done this as just following along and helping the other lady with your paper or whatever? I'd only ever acted as Mr. Tomorrow's assistant. Now I was in front and center as the defense table. Wouldn't you have been at the table with the... Alright, whatever. Are you okay? This is very Phoenix Wright. Even the position of this, whatever the hell this is. Are you okay? Yes, of course. Even if I kept saying that, it would end up being true. Fake till they make it. Arya Steelwind. ... That woman from the dungeons was also here. She must have been the prosecutor for Celeste's trial. No wonder she was able to order around the commander like that. I could feel her piercing glare burrowing into me. Why is she looking at me like that? Was she trying to intimidate me? I think she's just always like that. Because it was definitely working. Is this our judge? I hope he's smarter than the other judge. Court is now in session for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Judge. Occupation, judge. Age, judge. Arcane art, judge. Fantastic. Okay. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Very well, Prosecutor Steelwind. Could you please list the charges? Defendant is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary by trade and registered mage. She's charged with second-degree murder and negligent misuse of the arcane arts. Objection. Given the circumstances, this should be a manslaughter charge. The crime occurred within the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that was shut down years ago. Those who live nearby reported hearing a loud argument coming from within the building around 1 a.m. At 1:08 a.m., a carriage driver entered the tavern to investigate the disturbance. It was there they found the victim, the defendant's sword impaled within his body. The Inquisition had provided an autopsy report and documentation for the sword. Autopsy report. Died at 12... Why would you have an autopsy for a guy who'd been run through with a sword? That feels weird. Died at 1:12 a.m. after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Fatal wound showed heavy traces of transmutation magic. That is Celeste's sword? That is janky as hell. What the shit? The alleged murder weapons. Ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. What the shit is this? Holy crap. Okay. Well, what was the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see that they share the same last name. The defendant is the victim's daughter, but not by blood. She was adopted into the family when she was an infant. Her birth parents are currently unknown. I see. What an unfortunate turn of events. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation to the court. Witness, name and occupation. Name is Orem White. I'm the commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Commander, please testify about the details of the Inquisition's investigation. Yeah. I feel like his characterization is inconsistent with the way they was characterized earlier. We got a call late at night. Someone found a dead body inside the McCoy Tavern. When we arrived on the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword was still in his chest. We have a bunch of witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in the loud argument before the body was called in. The argument must have turned ugly because the defendant killed the old man using her magic sword. The defendant's sword was the murder weapon. It was possible that the murderer used it to frame her. That must have meant that the crime was premeditated. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Where was I supposed to start again? I need to prove that Celeste was innocent, but they found her sword in the body. Tyrion, this is the part where you say something, right? The longer I stood there, the more I noticed everyone staring at me. I could feel the case cracking. Each moment of silence was just another blow to my credibility. Sigh, I want to face Ruby tomorrow today, not her bumbling sidekick. Your Honor, the defense clear has nothing to say against the prosecution's overwhelming evidence. Yep, this whole thing's pretty open and shut. No, wait. I'm so sorry, Tyrion. I didn't do enough for Frey. Now she's... Who's Frey? What the hell? Occupation, attorney, age 36, arcane art nun. This is... 9 years ago? Okay. Miss Tamora, does this mean they're going to execute her? No, not again. Was I seriously going to watch this happen again? Tyrion. Her palm cracked across my face. I stumbled back and almost fell over. I cracked my head and instantly died. Now she was in trouble for 2 murders. She had every right to be angry, but that wasn't what I saw on her face. I'm sorry, Celeste. Stop. Just listen to me. You trained for this, right? You know what to do. I've never done this before. She cursed under her breath. She searched her mind for an answer. And just treat it like something you have done before. I don't know. You're good at chess, right? Just treat this whole thing like you're playing chess. I don't think that those are exactly analogous skills, honestly. I don't know. Yesterday you were calm and you were focused. So just channel that feeling. Look at the pieces on the board or something like that. He made a lot of statements. Every statement they made, every word that came out of his mouth, they were all just pieces on the board. Match wasn't one from the first move. It came from developing pieces I had and taking every advantage that presented itself. I apologize, Your Honor. The defense is ready to begin the cross-examination. I need my energy drink here. Seeing this is your first trial, Mr. Cuthbert, I'll overlook it this one time. There we go. Thank the gods, it actually worked. I like the little emojis representing their internal feelings being very conflicted right now. Okay, I need to examine every statement he made line by line. So this is the exact same as like a Phoenix Wright cross-examination, it looks like. Key to every cross-examination was identifying which statements contradict the evidence in my notes. Once I did that, I needed to present the contradicting evidence. Okay, so here's someone who shows up later. Miriam Frega, occupation student, age 17, arcane art conjuration. 5 years ago, but I remember it well. We'll see when that shows up. You start cross-examining a witness. The key to each cross-examination is to determine which part of the witness's testimony contradicts any of the items in your notes. Use the arrow keys to carefully examine each statement in the witness's testimony, identify the contradicting statement, and present the item that contradicts it. So I'm guessing you still just press on like everything basically up until later. Early on, you probably just press everything. What time did you get this call, and who discovered the body? The call came at 1:08 a.m. and the witness wanted to remain incognito. It was unusual for a witness to request anonymity, but it was well within their rights. What would have been a lot easier if I could cross-examine that witness directly. So there are situations where you are allowed to call in a crime anonymously, but if there is a specific reason, like it's a murder scene and they were indicated they were present on the scene, they're not allowed to be an anonymous witness because they're a suspect in the crime. So this individual would be somebody who potentially could have either tampered with the crime scene or would have been at the crime scene at the moment of the crime and therefore would have to be present for that. Because functionally, you have a right to see who is accusing you of a crime, and that would be applicable in this case. What happened when you arrived, Commander? When we arrived at the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy down the floor. The defense sword was still in his chest. How are you sure the sword was my client's? That we already know that. We know the sword is made out of some weird alloy. I think it was forged out of the country or something. It'd be hard to mistake something like that. We also have several eyewitnesses who verified the sword belongs to the defendant. She made no effort to hide it from the public. Quite the contrary, she was quite proud to show it off. Even so, that doesn't necessarily mean she was the one who stabbed him. Yeah, well... We have a bunch of witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was called in. How do they know it was my client who was arguing with the victim? You were there, weren't you? Don't tell me you didn't hear them. Every witness we talked to knew it was them. I couldn't really argue with them there. Celeste and Flintheart had very distinct voices, especially when they were raised. That argument must have turned ugly because the defendant killed the old man using her magic sword. You can't object to this because this is like supposition. This is basically just stating what they believe is the conclusion, but I was there when the argument took place. Flintheart was still alive when my client left the tavern. Perhaps, but how do you know that she didn't return to murder her father afterwards? Weren't there plenty of other people around who could have committed the crime? That tavern's been closed for years. The defendant and the victim Tamura were the only ones there before the body was discovered. Plus, the murder weapon was her sword. I was given that Mrs. Tamura didn't do this. Another person must have shown up at the tavern after Celeste and I left. Could have been the witness who discovered the body? This is again why that specific witness would have to give individual testimony and would have to be like... his testimony was straightforward, but that's exactly what would help me. Celeste was innocent, so there had to be a flaw in his logic. I just need to compare each statement to each piece of evidence by notes. Once I found the contradiction, I just need to present the edit. Okay, so how do I check my notes? Died at 1:12 a.m. after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. So the problem here is that they say that they arrive at 108. Call came at 108. Okay, so the contradiction isn't in the right space, is the problem. There's also some interesting contradictions here, because it's like there's no magical properties on the sword, and this says it's using transmutation magic. I'm not sure exactly how they want me to use this information in a particular way, but I'm seeing some contradictions here. This is a direct contradiction because they're saying that it's a magic sword. It's not a magic sword. Commander White, are you sure that the victim was killed using the defendant's sword? Yeah, it's pretty obvious from the crime scene. The problem with I have sort of with this is that this could be just a... This is nitpicking the defense, or sort of the plaintiffs, or the witness or whatever. Sorry, it's nitpicking sort of like specifics here, because it doesn't necessarily matter that the sword is magic or not. If there could have been magic being used by the individual using the sword, that would still transmit through there. So him saying that it's a magic sword when it's a mundane sword doesn't necessarily automatically matter in the context, but I think I have to disagree with you on that. If your testimony is true, the defense sword couldn't have been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. That may be, but another took a look at the autopsy report. It says that the fatal wound contained traces of transmutation magic. He even testified that the sword was magical. So what's your point? It's simple. How can a non-magical blade leave traces of magic in the wound? If there was a spell cast on, like, the blade itself, like, by the actual person who's casting it. So, like, again, this is, we're pulling out a slightly nitpicky argument here that I don't think is as strong as what we're trying to indicate here. I think it would be better to hammer on the idea that, like, the thing was called in at 108, but the fatality was at 112. So he called in before he had actually died. In other words, the witness could have actually conceivably saved the guy's life. My client's sword may look unique, but it's entirely non-magical. It couldn't have left those traces of transmutation on the wound. I don't think that's true. That doesn't make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then what was it in the body? There's only one reasonable explanation. In this particular case, what they're trying to get us to say is that he was killed with a transmutated sword that was magical. And after that, they tampered with the crime scene by pulling out the sword and then replacing with the defendant's sword. But that's not the only explanation that could have led to that situation. So I don't think that this is the best thing for the defense to be working on. The wound was created magically, and someone shoved the sword into the wound afterward. And that girl's a mage. She could have easily whacked the old man using magic. Why would she murder the victim using spell only to then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. If anything, this series of events proves something else. Someone used magic to murder the victim, then pushed my client's sword into the wound to frame her. Don't get ahead of yourself, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, the defense is suggesting that another person used the sword to frame the defendant, but the defendant clearly cast a spell on the sword at the time of the murder. She cast a spell. Commander, testify as to how magic was used during the murder. What? Alright, I see what you're going with this. Witness testimony. Sword itself ain't magical, but spells can be cast on it. The defendant over there, her spell compendium's got a spell called Mage Blade. She must have cast on her sword before stabbing the old man. That spell's the reason why we found traces of magic on the body. Mageblade, Transmutation, Arcane. Gesture, none, while concentrating, concentration, yes. This is very D&D coded, by the way. Unfortunately, it's D&D 5th edition, and I play 3.5, which does not require you to concentrate on Magic Sword. So, whatever. For the duration of the spell, the edge of the object, usually the blade, becomes unnaturally sharp. This is actually more like keen weapon. Make it more effective at slashing through tough material. While under the effects of the spell, the object emits a faint yellow radiant glow. The target object must be no longer than 5 foot cubed. The yellow radiant glow is going to be the important part of this. I like that it says that the target object must be no larger than a 5 foot cube. So if you did decide that your weapon is a 5 foot tungsten cube, you could in fact roll that on top of somebody after enchanting it with Mageblade, which would make it a very sharp 5 foot cube, which means that the edges would hit like a bitch. A spell compendium lists every spell a mage knows how to cast. It was a fundamental piece of evidence that proved which spells a mage could and couldn't use. This is going to become very important for that thing I was complaining about earlier, where it's like, how the hell are we supposed to be able to figure out what magic was used in what context? Because magic can just do whatever the hell, but, this is a great way of grounding it, and also familiar for people who play D&D. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium with you? No, my dad was the last person who had it. What? Why would Flintheart have her spell compendium? But he's right, I know how to cast Mageblade. It's actually the only spell I know. I'd like to add that we found traces of transmutation magic on the defendant's sword as well. I'm sure, as the court knows, magic traces stay on objects for 48 hours after a spell is cast on them. Well, she did use it to kill a bear. The alleged murder weapon is an innately designed sword, but has no magical properties. Traces of transmutation were... Yeah. Okay. Was 48 hours really tighten the timeline for cases like this? Not really. Because of that, crimes need to be investigated before all the magical traces disappeared from the crime scene. Oh, and in terms of the investigation, yes, but not for the court, this part. It also gave the courts the perfect excuse to push these cases through the system as quickly as possible. You don't actually have to. You just have to get the evidence and investigation done within that time frame. You don't actually have to have the court case done at that time frame. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Commander's testimony was a lot vaguer this time. He probably wasn't expecting to give a secondary testimony. Pressing the statements really helped in situations like this. Doing that might reveal new pieces of evidence they could use against him. Okay. Back at it. Sometimes the contradicting statement isn't always apparent in witness testimony. You can press the statement during cross-examination to gain more information about that specific statement. Pressing can sometimes reveal new statements or evidence you can use. I had this problem when I was playing the Phoenix Wright games as well, is that I would often be looking at the specific evidence that they were giving, and I'd be like, okay, so the thing that they're trying to get me to do doesn't actually matter, and it's kind of a spurious defense. So I would be skipping ahead of the thing that they're trying to tell me to talk about, because the thing that they're trying to get me to say is something that I know is flawed. So this is kind of interesting that that's happening here again. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with this, but let's figure. Are you accusing my client of casting a spell and then channeling through a sword? There are a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost exclusively channeled through an object. Your client clearly learned a spell that would aid in her work as a mercenary. I like that Arya Steelwind is an evoker. She's just going to, blow me up at some point. Speaking of which, the defendant over there, her spell compendium's got a spell called Mageblade. Mageblade. Transmutation spell that sharpens and empowers my sword. Wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? He wasn't wearing any armor or protection at the time of his death. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. Perhaps she simply cast it out of habit. What matters is that the sword undeniably has traces of transmutation magic on it. She must have cast it on her sword before stabbing the old man. Press. Why would she go through the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to murder a defenseless person. Mages are always looking for an excuse to throw their power around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander? We don't need to understand why the defendant did what she did. The fact of the matter is that traces of magic were found in the body and the sword. Do you have any evidence to the contrary, Mr. Cuthbert? The spell is the reason why we found traces of magic on the body. About that, spells only leave magical traces on the object they target, and those traces are only detectable for 48 hours. Apparently they don't just leave it on the object they target. My client cast Mageblade, like you said. There shouldn't be any magical traces on the wound. They would only be traces on the sword. Is that how that works? Okay. We always find random magical traces at crime scenes. We can't always explain each trace we detect. That sounds more like a failure on the Inquisition's part than anything else. Can we really trust that your knight examined the crime scene properly? You don't believe me? Take a look at this picture. Why is the sword invisible? I've seen pictures of dead bodies while studying Miss Tomorrow's past cases, but there was something unnerving about someone I met yesterday. I've carefully inspected the photo, taking great care to keep it out of Celeste's view. Okay, so we got the flaw here. This is clearly him being stabbed from the front. The blade entry from the actual... you'd think that would be ruined by the specifics here, but he's clearly been stabbed in the front in this example, but the autopsy report says that he was initially stabbed from behind. That was the actual killing blow. Interior plain as day. Sword has the highest concentration of transmutation traces. Why didn't those traces fully cover the weapon? Did the transmutation spell damage the sword somehow? Crime scene photo. A picture of Flintheart McCoy after his murder, which shows traces of transmutation magic that were on the sword. Why was this picture not brought to my attention, Orem? What would be the point of that? The entire case is open and shut. Prosecutor seemed unnerved by something. She realized that he's guilty. I can see in the photo, she stabbed him right through the chest using Mage Blade. He was right about the photo. It clearly showed that he was stabbed from the front, so why did that bother me so much? Yeah, so do I do this here, or do I do this with the picture somehow? I'm sorry, Commander White, but you've shown us an even more glaring contradiction. Oh yeah? In your testimony, you said that my client stabbed the victim right through the chest. You can see it right there in that picture. So where's your contradiction? That's exactly the problem, Commander. Your picture undeniably shows that my client's sword impaled the victim from the front, but if that's really true, why does the autopsy say that he died from being stabbed in the back? What? Orem, you're supposed to submit everything you had to me. Why do you withhold this photo? There was no point. She's a mage. It couldn't have been anyone else. Murmurs rippled through the gallery. Even the judge shifted uncomfortably in his seat. This would actually make for a much more... If there was a really interesting later Game 1, can you imagine if someone stabbed someone through the back, but then used transmutation magic to transmute the sword from one that's like... to basically reverse the sword like inside the same wound so that it looked like that? That would be an interesting sort of shift in the dynamic with the same evidence. Our justice system may have been corrupt, but they never get away with such a blatant error. Order in the court. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? Your Honor, the photo clearly shows my client's sword impaling him from the front. Which means there's only one way for the autopsy to be true. The sword would need to be inserted into the wound after the victim had died. That's crazy. Then why didn't you enlighten me? Don't you enlighten me, Commander White? Do you think my client impaled the victim hilt first with her sword? I mean, she is probably... Yeah, she probably did, actually. She could totally have done that. She held the sword backwards. She was going to just, like, bonk him. But then, absolutely just impaled him straight through with the blunt side of the sword. Or do you think she stabbed him through the chest, removed it, and then placed her sword in the body to frame herself? Well, that's... No, what happened here is obvious. The real murderer stuck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side. You're pretty good at this. Objection. Appears I underestimated you, but you've still gotten ahead of yourself. Is that so, Miss Steelwind? Let me ask the defense one question, Mr. Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Flintheart McCoy, then who did? Irrelevant. If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out. Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence, but one fact still remains. There were magical traces on the wound and the sword. Would you like you to tell me how many mages live in that small town? Also irrelevant, you've mentioned yourself that the report was put in by a carriage driver. The only people who are carriage drivers are people working for wealthy people, and that means that there was a wealthy person who is a non-resident of that small town who is not accounted for, and the only people who seem to be wealthy in the setting seem to be mages. So, again, entirely irrelevant. I didn't like where she was going with this. Only one. The defendant is the only registered mage who lives in Cornhaven. So, could have been an unregistered one. Right, Cornhaven is a village of farmers. Celeste was the only mage there. The defendant was also established to have been with the victim minutes before his time of death. In addition to that, I have several witnesses who heard them arguing. You, on the other hand, can only implicate an unknown assailant. I doubt you could even tell me who they are. Again, irrelevant. Even so, it's clear that the prosecution can't reliably prove how the victim was murdered. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable, but the evidence still leans heavily against the defense. There are far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. We'll give the Inquisition time to investigate the crime scene and clear these unknowns. I suggest that they conduct their investigation more thoroughly this time. We'll resume the trial tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. I can't believe they're making me do investigation on the tutorial mission. What the hell? Hello, Cuthbert. Oh, Miss Tamora. I sensed as she approached me. I had been so focused on Telella's case I hadn't even thought about how I'd left things with my mentor. Scaled Lord, she had probably been in the gallery too. She must have seen how I froze up during the first cross-examination. Your job is to put your client at ease, not the other way around. Yeah, sorry. I'm sure she was just snapping you out of it, but everyone saw her become violent with you. It's not exactly helpful if you want to prove that she's not a violent murderer. Make no mistake, the prosecution will use that to their advantage. What's wrong with you? He did fine. McCoy, if the Inquisition didn't botch the investigation, Cuthbert would have never been able to buy this much time. In case you've forgotten, he's my defense attorney, not you. I don't get why he has to take notes from you. No, she's right, Celeste. I need to do better. I can't ever let myself freeze up like that again. Might not be so lucky next time. Other than that, I'll admit that you did well. You cross-examined the commander adequately, and you handled Steelwind's rebuttals as well as you could have. I remember how Prosecutor Steelwind was glaring at me from the start of this trial. Even thinking about it was enough to make me nauseous. Steelwind. Why did that name sound so familiar? Wait, isn't that House Steelwind one of the four... Yeah, we already... There was that blurb that it told us that, yeah. That's right. Lucio Steelwind is the Grand General of Wyvengard's military. Hadn't he been caught up in a lot of scandals recently? Scandals? He's been having people killed by the thousands. Right, I remember seeing several articles about him in the Ratholm Gazette. In recent years, groups voicing their grievances against the crown have begun to surface in the countryside. King Olivier would answer complaints by unleashing Steelwind soldiers on these so-called insurrectionists. More often than not, their peaceful protests turned violent, leading to bloody retaliations from Lucio's forces. Obviously, we just need to Bastille Day this a little bit better, and Arya is Lucio Steelwind's only heir. When I saw her name in the docket, I wrote her off as a noble role-playing for fun. But she's good, better than most of the prosecutors I've faced. That's depressing. She's not doing a great job, really. She's taking this seriously, and with Flintheart was doing, I can't help but wonder if the prosecutor is acting on her father's behalf. Do you think Prosecutor Steelwind is protecting the serial killer? The Inquisition Knights were the first responders to the scene. Didn't that strike you as odd? Right, in a small town like Cornhaven, the village militia would be the first people there. For the Inquisition to respond so quickly, they would have needed to know that magic was used at all. This whole mess feels a little too staged, and with Steelwind involved, this whole situation reeks of corruption. I'm sure locking up Flintheart's daughter would send a clear message to his allies. But if that were true, why did she help us in the dungeons? Either way, this works out in our favor. I can't fight the Steelwinds on a battlefield, but I can fight them in the courtroom. On that subject, I've been meaning to give you this. My spell compendium? I grabbed it from the dining room before the Inquisition arrived. They have a bad habit of misplacing pieces of evidence like this. Celeste's spell compendium. It's got... This kind of looks like the Zerg logo. Celeste McCoy's spell compendium contains the formula for only one spell, Mageblade. That's very depressing. Go to magic school. So this is your spell compendium, and it only has one spell. Mageblade. Prosecution will need to prove that Mageblade was used in the murder. It will restrict their plan of attack, which will give you an edge over them. But I still have no idea who actually did this. I feel like this is actually also spurious evidence. There's no reason, as far as I can understand it, why you would only be able to have one compendium. I feel very much like that would be a sort of red herring rule, where they could have additional books elsewhere. And this is, again, me talking about this from like a D&D player's perspective, where we often will have multiple spell books to mess with things depending on how much of a dick your DM is. Often you shouldn't need to have more than one spell book. It's just kind of annoying paperwork that is interesting fluff and kind of neat. But if you're actually playing against more serious settings where you have to actually consider your actions or whatever, which is fine in some games, you really need to know what you're doing with your spell books. I need to talk to you about what your father was doing. Oh, she glanced at the bailiff. He was looming close, staring daggers at her. I should go. It looks like he can't wait to throw me back into that cell. But wait, She turned away and quickly walked off without another word. Miss Tamora just shook her head. She's practically begging for a conviction at this rate. Bringing up her late father may have struck a nerve. I would need to be more delicate next time. I can speak with her in the dungeon later. Right now I want to take a look at the crime scene. Without negligent the Inquisition were, I doubt they found anything. If planning to investigate the crime scene, you'll need this. She reached into her coat and pulled a small blue runestone. I froze for a moment, staring wide-eyed at it. Is that... Attorney's runestone. Magical runestone allows you to take pictures of crime scenes and write notes telepathically. Each attorney has one. It's almost like a badge for them. So, again, this is my smartphone that I've just got for being an attorney. What a world. It's attorney's runestone. I had a commission for you after you passed the exam last month. You've had one ready this entire time? Cuthbert, are you crying? No. I wiped my eyes and delicately stored the runestone in the pocket of my jacket. embarrass them today. Don't expect them to be that sloppy again. As much as I hate to admit, your investigative mind is sharper than mine. If anyone can get through this, it's you. Thank you. She's trying to take a seat at the bench near the courtroom entrance. Looked like she was staying here until the case was over. Didn't they say it was going to be tomorrow morning? I tucked Celeste's spell compendium into my jacket. I hadn't slept my body so late from the carriage ride. Still didn't know whether I was truly up to this, but none of that mattered. Celeste was counting on me, and I wouldn't let anyone get away with killing Flintheart, even if even if the steel ones were involved. Yeah, okay, sure, let's save. Do I feel like rotating? Yeah, we'll do it. Why not? Oh god. Okay. Now that let me know that the crime scene was being tampered with. By the way, this is where like witness testimony and the witness would become even more a suspect. So we would absolutely have to get the witness in to take the stand. Like at this point in time, their anonymity would not make any sense. Did my game crash? Possibly. My game may have crashed. This might be one of those weeks. Okay. Well, right. I'm going to go use the washroom. We'll find out what the hell's going on once I get back. Maybe your whole PC. Oh no, my PC is definitely struggling. Not just XCOM. I think apparently XCOM actually does just have a lot of bugs that cause it to do stuff. Let's see here. I'm gonna do something real quick here. So I'm still technically in Persona 3, which is probably definitely not helping anything, if I'm totally honest with you. Let's go ahead and save this real quick. I'm going to close Persona, and that probably is going to help. Having that much stuff running at the same time is probably actually making things a lot worse. I figured since it was a predominantly sort of text game, it might have an easy time, but just left Persona open, psycho behavior. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's sometimes you do that kind of stuff. Let me just close this and open it back up again here. Okay. The Inquisition had set up a teleportation circle at the crime scene. So yeah, that worked. I think that Persona being left open was indeed the psycho behavior that was causing my it to not. Yeah. So Yeah, calling me out for that absolutely deserved. Okay, fine. The Inquisition had set up a teleportation circle at the crime scene. As a defense attorney for this case, I was permitted to use it. Uh, shouldn't stress anything except possibly RAM or VRAM. Well, you know, with that, I could instantly travel back and forth between the McCoy Tavern and the capital. Still psycho behavior. Eh, you know, it was miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White stepped into my way as I approached the tavern entrance. This time I took out my attorney's runestone and presented it to him. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have every right to look at the crime scene. That is not true. Whatever. Just remember, I've got an eye on you. You can take that rock out of my face now. So sorry. You've begun your investigation into the crime. You'll need to collect clues and evidence by moving to different locations, talking to witnesses, and examining locations of importance. So in Phoenix Wright, what would happen is you would like play this out, and as soon as you had all the evidence, it would like automatically push you through. I actually kind of hope it still does that. That would probably be preferable. Looks like I've still got all of the same stuff as I have before, so let's go ahead and talk. Commander White, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. You seriously think I'm going to help you? You know who your boss is, and I know who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. She probably sent you here to con me. I just needed information about the crime scene, as is my right. Yeah, sure you do. At first I thought he was just another corrupt knight, but this felt oddly personal. I wonder if this could all just be a misunderstanding. I might be able to persuade him to cooperate with me. Got this one again. You occasionally need to argue against people and persuade them to cooperate with your investigation. Psychological profiles help you with ensuring those arguments. They give you information about your opponents and help you understand which options to pick. You can fill a person's psychological profile by talking to them or presenting them certain items. What's with the weird tear in the bottom of his armor there? So what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm genuinely curious. Well, we're called in whenever there's traces of magic at a crime scene. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. Made sense. Most mages were in the nobility after all. Oh yeah, no, rich, powerful people never commit crimes. That would never, especially ones with like magic powers, they would never commit crimes. Sure, yeah. The ones who made a habit of falling into scandals didn't last very long. Must have an easy job then. You got that right. That's the only reason we exist. Clean up the nobility's messes. Yep. Didn't seem very happy about that. So we can get more information about their psychological profile, I guess, which we can then use later. Mages. You seem to speak negatively about magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? It ain't a grudge, it's just common sense. All it takes is one spell. Some rich kid just needs to wave their hands and mutter some magical nonsense. Then the next thing you know, someone's dead on the ground. You just said that barely ever happens. Not to mention, if some boneheads really overuse their magic, they'll end up snapping and going on a rampage. We're talking about mage blight? That's what happens when a mage gets too arrogant. Nobles have that in spades. Is this like cyberpsychosis, except with magic? Okay. I don't know if this is going too far, but why did you join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? He gets to arrest them, considering the fact that my job is to sweep the nobility's crime under the rug. I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Anytime a noble screws up, I'm told to look the other way. But every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. You can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least they were before your boss showed up. My boss, do you have something against what Mr. Morrow was doing? I have to ask, did something happen between you and Mr. Morrow? Mr. Morrow, you really are her lackey through and through. She's my legal guardian. I owe a lot to her. Oh, that's who you are this whole time? I didn't even know she had a kid. Look, I don't know what she's told you, but she ain't the hero you think she is. This is about the rumors, isn't it? They're just lies spread by the nobility to discredit her. They ain't lies, kid. I've seen it for myself. That woman's a criminal. My hands clenched into a fist before I calmed myself down. This wasn't time for emotion. She defends mages that don't have protection of the nobility. She hates the aristocracy just as much as you do. Yeah, whatever. There's chalk outline on the ground of the cavern, creating a rough silhouette of Flintheart's body. That is not how he looked in the pictures. Chalk lines match the crime scene photo, but that is not true. I noticed the trace of transmutation on the ground in my photo. I traced my fingers to the areas where they had been detected. So I guess this thing also has a detect magic feature. The floor texture was rougher and almost sticky. Did someone use transmutation magic to alter the floor? It's a portrait of someone. There's text on it. I want you to join Colonel Sanders' army. Adam Evelay, politician of the Pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations south of here. Okay. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they got going down there. An election. Had Flintheart been studying alternate forms of government for his little revolution? He wants a KFC government. It's a painting of a mage. There's some text on it. Samala Daglian, a legendary practitioner of the arcane arts. He mysteriously disappeared one day. Yeah, that is probably something that happens to a lot of mages. It's rumored he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. Daglian was reckless in casting the spell, however, and he quickly lost control of it. His body was never found. He turned himself into a worm to ask the question, would his girlfriend still love him if he was in fact a worm? Many speculate they didn't die during the accident, but if that were true, where did the spell take him? Humph, sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might explain why Flintheart kept it in his tavern. How come this is there, but I can't actually click on it? There are candles on each of the tables in the dining area, but there are also lamps mounted on the walls. On closer inspection, they appeared to be artificery, machines that could reproduce the effects of magic. Why wasn't the Inquisition using this instead? Is artificery not magic? I thought that would actually be magic. Artificer is just magic with a different name. That's what I thought, but is it actually... Actually, these machines draw aether from surrounding ley lines, too. I didn't ask for a science lesson. Anyways, look where Artificery got these folks. This energy cell broke, and they haven't had any power for weeks. Just goes to show that nothing beats good old oil and flame. Broken power cell. McCoy in his outfit with several lamps powered by Artificery. However, the arcane power cell has been broken for weeks, and the lamps can't be turned on. Is that important? No, I think I remember that from the prologue. This is going to be important because we're going to have that situation where he's describing how the lights were turned on through the artificery, but these lights are broken, so that can't have been true. Shards of a broken bottle were next to the chalk outline. The shard has a label on it. It says Lotus Juice. Never heard of that brand before. Shattered bottle of Lotus Juice. Shattered remains of a glass bottle. You found it next to Flintheart McCoy's body. The bottle says the words Lotus Juice. Okay, that's going to be something... Oh, wow. That is not what I thought travel was going to be like here. Okay. But he seems to have personal grudge against Miss Tamora and me. If I clipped the misunderstanding, you might help me. Do you have an issue with me, Commander White? Don't give me that crap. I've seen you who you work for. Think I don't know what you're doing? Ruby Tamora is a crooked lawyer. I'll be dead in the ground before I help you. Oh, God. Look. This is Magic Land. If you want someone to turn you into a zombie and then you'd help me as a zombie Inquisitor, then I don't really want to do that. I don't think you want to do that. Don't say that. Say that even if you are dead in the ground, you won't help me. Client deserves a fair trial, fair representation. All I'm doing is... he doesn't believe in justice, so I don't believe that that's going to be true. It's probably deflect in this case. Commander White's stubborn and stuck in his ways. Seems to have a grudge against Ruby Tamora and will actively try to defend her. However, he will respect you if you defend yourself against personal attacks. Yeah, it's probably deflect. Regardless of what Miss Tamora has done, I'm the one heading this case. You don't even know me. Whatever problems you have with her, they have nothing to do with me. I've seen how she defends her clients. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. She'll do whatever it takes to win. You're just another crook. Doesn't matter what you say. I know you're just like her. Me being her successor has nothing to do with it. You know what that helping me is the right thing to do. I'm not rude tomorrow. What you think of her isn't relevant here, regardless of what you've seen her do. I'm trying to run an honest case. Forgery, bribery, if you see me doing these things, I've only defended my client by pointing to your mistakes. I don't know if saying this would be the best thing under the circumstances, because, you know, pointing out that he's incompetent probably has nothing to do with what we would want here. I don't think that trying to appeal to rightness is right with him either. I don't want to keep just deflecting, but... I'm just going to say this because, like, I'm not going to try and say it's like all that other stuff is not true. Maybe it is, but that has nothing to do with what I'm doing here. That seemed to work. Look, kid, after I've seen her pull in court, I'm not going to fall for it. I have no reason to trust you. No matter what, I know you're a crooked lawyer raised by the biggest crook of them all. You have no proof that she's a crook, and you certainly don't have any proof that I'm one either. I'm just a defense attorney, so asking for information about the case. Nothing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. The only thing she taught me is how to practice law. Have you seen me engage in any crooked behavior? I don't think bringing her up here. This doesn't mention her at all. I think you just keep deflecting in this case. That kind of sucks, but... Spent some time searching for a rebuttal, but after a while he just let out a resigned sigh. Just want info on the case, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, fine, I'll answer your questions, but you better not make me regret this. Argument 1. I successfully persuaded Orm White. I'm not entirely sure that the sword was the real murder weapon. Right, I guess you want to prove that someone else stuck the sword in the body. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we didn't. That would have been a little too convenient, wouldn't it? If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If there was something hidden here, they would have found it. We would have found it already. Isn't she an evoker? I'm thinking D&D terms again, but they are the schools of D&D magic. So we've got Conjuration, Transmutation, and Evocation so far. So presumably you wouldn't use an evoker to look through a place for that sort of thing, but... I can't believe you overlooked something so obvious. Oh, shut up with that. I've already gotten earful about that mess from Steelwind. Well, you don't have to worry about me screwing the things up. Steelwind's taken over the entire investigation. Do prosecutors normally do that? Nope, but she ain't no prosecutor. She's a Steelwind. I know better than to go against orders from her sort. I know we made a mistake, but she's taking this too far. She even had my man draft a map for the crime scene. Really? Could I see it? Knock yourself out. I have a bunch of copies. Don't know how much good it'll do you, though. Geometrically scaled map of the crime scene. Okay, this is D&D map 101. Okay, sure. Where the hell's the body in this relative to that? Okay, so I'm guessing from the look of this... Oh, evidence was there. Never mind. Okay, so given where that is, the body is approximately here-ish. It doesn't give you a good evidence as to like which direction he was facing or anything like that, so that's not really that easy to tell from here. It's obvious that the body was like laid out from feet here to head here, but he was sort of curled on his side, so it doesn't really tell us too much about like what position he was in before he died. Okay. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn Nola comes in here telling me how to do my job. Lord knows what she's even doing here. Do you think she's here on behalf of her father? So I honestly don't know. My men are on edge because of that. You know, we were deployed in some of those regions, the ones where her old man was squashing those rebellions. They said we needed to investigate the terrorists there, but by the time we got there, they just had us clean up the bodies. Scaled Lord. Doesn't matter if it's women or children, Lucio Steelwind will kill them all the same. A bunch of my men quit after that. They couldn't stomach working for a monster like that. What about you? We all gotta get paid somehow. Not like he can do anything. He's basically a duke. Well, you could join the rebellion. I'd found everything that I could in the dining area, but what did it all mean? No other murder weapons found, and there wasn't any evidence of another person at the scene either. I only knew about the anonymous witness who discovered the body. Hey, you okay, kid? Once again, I let everything else disappear from the world. You listening? There's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to whether or not Flintheart moved out when he was attacked. What? How did Flintheart move before he died? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. The fact implies something about the location of Flintheart's death. During investigation, you'll sometimes go over all you've learned from the formulate deductions. Tyrion will think through the case and raise statements that must be answered. Use the arrows to construct a sentence that responds to the statement, with more than one response may be technically true, only one response will be meaningful.
Maybe.
What? Oh, I see. I feel like this is true. I don't know what they're really hoping for here, so let's just give one a try. Oh, okay. They're trying to get me to do something related to this, so... Don't move.
Maybe.
I think it's during the attack, probably. Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. He might have even died instantaneously. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. There's also the autopsy report, which says he died from a stab from behind. He must have been facing away from his attacker. He's probably caught off guard, and he would have been been in shock and too incapacitated to move. Also, doesn't look like the body was dragged anywhere either. He was definitely attacked right where the chalk outline is. Yeah. Did that get added in there? There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. How did the bottle shatter? Fragments are right next to the body. The bottle must have been only shattered hours ago. I thought it's been like a day since we were here. Flintheart dropped the bottle during the attack. Flintheart dropped the bottle exactly where he was attacked, which implies that he was holding it when the attack occurred. Yeah? What's so strange about that? These details may seem insignificant, but together they'll give me a better idea of what the board looked like. The reason that that's important is that it's unlikely that he's in some sort of heated argument where he's about to get murdered, where, you know, he's getting the bottle there, but that doesn't prove anything by default, so... The board? There's also the fact that the lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orem? No, we had to light them so you could see the crime scene properly. What was the state of the crime scene? We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in the dark. They didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. If there was any lighting during the attack, it could have been produced by the murderer. I could slowly see the position of the pieces, but there's still areas I was unsure of. Broken power cell. McCoy in his outfit had several lamps powered by artificer, blah blah blah. Yep. They might have used a torch or a lantern of some kind. Additionally, the argument that Celeste had with Flintheart must have been sparked by something. Things seemed fine between them before I went to bed. It was spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In the darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have had a lot of visibility. He probably never saw the attack coming. He would have been surprised and in too much shock to run away. Kid, the ball may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Was he pouring a drink for himself or for a visitor? Kid. I was in a frenzy, but the commander snapped me back to reality. What was that all about? Sorry, I just get lost in my head sometimes. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're mumbling like a crazy person. Man, I've been there, done that. Right, sorry. It felt like I'd found everything I could here. It was time to move somewhere else. Okay, yeah, so they basically just tell you to, like, leave. Okay. I returned to the dungeons, but Celeste's cell was empty. The Inquisition must have still been questioning her. I need to come back later. Lit torches hanging in the cell walls. Seemed a bit irresponsible to light a fire in here. But prisoner safety is probably the last thing in the Inquisition's mind. I would be more worried that they would somehow be able to use the fire to, like, create some sort of weapon or something like that, or something that they could use to threaten or hurt, like, a guard or something like that. There was a steel door that led into the cell. A magical mechanism covered by a steel box placed over the lock. I couldn't help but notice that the mechanism had a dent in it. Looked like the impact had come from within the cell. The cell had a barred window. The bars were rusted. If the prisoner tried to escape, there would be a 3-story drop to freedom. I think she could make it. I feel like she could just, like, Kool-Aid man her way out of this particular dungeon fine. Oh, I can go to McCoy Tavern upstairs. Well, I chose the least efficient way to travel here. As I went up the stairs, I overheard Steelwind arguing with someone. Keep showing your face here. People start asking questions. I have the investigation under control now. All I have to do is stay quiet until this is over. Ah, it's the murderer. You may be Steelwind, but this is my land. I will do as I see fit. As I ran down the hallway, I bumped into what appeared to be a nobleman. With a quick motion, he drew a handkerchief to clean parts of his cloth that had brushed against me. His cold gaze hardened into a contemptuous glare. He gave me the same look he'd probably give a rotting pile of excrement on the Cornhaven streets. I should sneeze on him. I should sneeze on this man. Oh, sorry. Watch where you're going, you weed. Ah, you're that defense attorney from the trial, aren't you? And you are? I am Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. Leader of House Pierce. He's the ruling noble of Cornhaven and the villages nearby. He appears to be involved in prosecutor Sealand's case against Celeste, but to what extent? Well, he's the murderer. I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial. If only you weren't such a stubborn nuisance. I suppose that you believe my client is guilty? I never said that, but I'm not wrong, am I? It matters not what I believe. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the public. Magic is a gift for the nobility and the nobility alone. It's a symbol of our cosmic right to rule. Bastards like that girl should know her place. This is what happens when the gift of magic is used by those of impure blood. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Ha, I must commend you. You almost had me fooled. Excuse me? Wait, do you actually believe her little story? What good does a defense attorney if they don't believe in their clients? Scaled Lord, and here I took you for another envious commoner, but you actually believe that trite. And are you sure you're tomorrow's brat? I knew I had picked my battles, but I really weighed my legal consequences of punching him square in the face. I should sneeze on this man. I should sneeze on this man. Let me tell you something, boy. Even if that bastard is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, as the public accuse the justice system of corruption. It is corrupt. If Kim believes there's any unrest here, even for a moment, he'll unleash Lucio Steelwind and his soldiers upon this region. Let him do it. I'm sure you're well aware of what tends to follow after. That doesn't mean my client should be convicted of a crime she didn't commit. Here's the thing, like, they've implied that there are other nations sort of around this place, so if they keep, like, going around and just completely wiping out their entire population everywhere they go, they're eroding the, like, function of their own state to the point where, like, anyone could just sort of waltz in and take it. Because if you've killed off, like, half of your population, that's half of your potential fighting force, and half of your potential economy, which could be used to hire mercenaries, and it's, like, half of your logistics, and literally all the people that were sort of like there just as added friction to make it harder to just take over for a conquering band of pillagers. So they basically screwed themselves over like in a dozen different ways by acting the way that they're doing. Like I think that, you know, just let them do it. The king will be beheaded by like foreign nationals if he keeps doing it. So, you know, whatever. What is one insignificant girl when compared to the stability and well-being of the people in this land? It's your land. I don't care what happens to you or your land. You're far too short-sighted. I literally just said what is going to happen if this keeps going, and I'm all for it. I'm 100% on board with that. That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. Sure, millions must die, but that's a sacrifice I and you are both willing to make. He glanced at the prosecutor for a moment and then back at me. For a moment, I caught a flicker of fear in his eyes. I suppose that even House Pierce had reason to fear the steel winds. Humph. Without another word, he walked down the stairs. I don't agree with him. What? Our system should exist to deliver truth and justice, not quell public opinion. Yeah, well, tough shit. If you really believe that, you wouldn't be working against my client. Do you honestly think she's the kind of monster who would murder her own father? I'm not so superficial that I judge someone based on their appearance. The only thing I trust is evidence, and all of it points to her being the only, no, that's not true. Is that really what you believe? Or are you just hiding the fact that you're here on your father's behalf? Oh, she is going to punch me in the face. I'm not working with my father. I'm working against him just as much as you are. What? She's working against her father? My apologies. I don't know what came over me. It's fine. I respect you, Mr. Cuthbert. You should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. Try to think of a retort, but she said nothing as she walked past me. There were some candles lighting up the hallway. Look, they're part of the old architecture. What's this? Several doors led to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that Miss Tamora and I used, they didn't look like they'd been open for quite some time. Is there a special thing for the ones that we did use? Store at the end of the hallway. I saw a light from under the door. Someone was inside. I tried to open the door, but it seemed to be locked. I knocked on the door, but received no answer in return. Okay, that feels like that could be ridiculously important, that there's just another person here that's been locked into the place, that's been like, you know, the fish person or whatever, that's been locked in the attic and secretly the whatever of the whatever. Because we'll have to feed them, right? Like, you know, you can't just leave the fish person in there not getting fed. That would be cruel and unusual. Right back to the dungeon. Celeste was huddled down in the corner of the cell. She noticed me and wait from her shoulders seemed to lift, but only for a moment. Hi. She had avoided me before, but I doubt she had seen many friendly faces since the trial. Hi, I can't stay for long. I just need to ask some questions about the case. Right. I'm really sorry for what happened today. Well, it ended up okay in the end, right? That was unusually forgiving. She hadn't calmed me down. The trial may have ended very differently. I still don't understand, though. Why were there so many traces of magic at the crime scene? Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day? Yes, I used it for training last week. Is that when the traces came from? No, magical traces last for only 48 hours. After that, they disappeared. Did she not use that for the bear? Holy shit. Not to mention, the spells only leave traces of magic on the object they are cast on. Even if sword made physical contact with the body, the traces should have spread to the wound. Really? What does that mean, then? I don't know. The floorness of the body has strange texture to it, too. If the killer had used a transmutation spell, it may have changed your sword and the surrounding floor. That doesn't make any sense, though. I know my theory sounds far-fetched, but the traces were only on parts of the sword. That must mean that the outer layer of the sword must have broken off during the murder. But my sword can't be damaged like that, even when transmutation is used on it. That's the reason why I have it. I can be so sure. Back when I was traveling, I'd always break my weapons by swinging them too hard. They ended up breaking in 2 or 3 swings, maybe 4 if it was well made. How much force was she swinging those weapons with? That sword was a gift from one of my clients. He said it was specially carved from the bones of a purple worm. Transmutation spells can't damage them. I've had it for years, and it didn't have a single chip in it. I don't even need to sharpen it. Where did you get the sword again? The Eastern Kingdoms. Isn't travel outside of Weavengard illegal? Mercenaries don't have a lot more legitimate options to work for in a Weavengard. I did what I had to do. I doubt I'd be able to contact the sword's maker in time, if at all. I would just have to take a word for it. But if what she was saying were true, why weren't the traces of transmutation magic covering the entire sword? Flintheart McCoy, can you tell me more about your father? I'm sorry, I know this must be difficult for you. I remember how you two were yesterday. Is this really going to help? Knowing more about him could help me figure out who actually did this. Sigh, okay, I was adopted by employees when I was a baby, but they always treated me like I was part of their family. Townsfolk would always shoo me away. They didn't want anything to do with the noble bastard. My dad got into a bunch of fights with them over that. But I had to go and ruin everything. He was a voice of dissonance, wasn't he? Did he share his views? I knew he hated the nobility, but I didn't know about his rallies until just recently. If I knew how much danger his life was in, I never would have. I'd have never left Weavengard. I think he knew that. If I'd been there that night, he'd still be. It's all my fault. It's not your fault. No one could have expected that. I felt sorry for her, but I really needed to know more. Any witnesses? Could you hear it? I could hear arguments from my room last night. Your neighbors must have overheard it too. Did any of them come by to check up on you two? They might have seen the person who did this. I doubt it. Even if they did see something, they wouldn't testify for someone like me. I thought your father was a key figure among the dissidents. Yeah, but all of his supporters come from the neighboring towns. Everyone inside the village hates our family. People could tell I was adopted. It's not as if I looked like either of my parents. Rumors spread about how some noble lord must have had a tryst with my mom. They were wrong, obviously, but it's hard to stop a rumor like that when it spreads. Didn't he say that she's adopted them? That's terrible. It's fine. I stopped caring about it years ago. Things were manageable before, but things got worse when my dad started speaking about against the nobility. He wasn't just a pariah at that point. He was drawing a lot of attention to Cornhaven. Everyone's heard the rumors about what grandeur was doing in villages like ours. They ever tried to threaten my dad to stop, and when that didn't work, they started vandalizing a tavern. They'd even steal my parents' supplies. They had to come back to Weavengard because some of the other villagers broke into the tavern. They were cowards. They thought they would scare Dad into stopping. They were scared. My dad was painting a giant target on this region. It's not as if the kingdom would care if a village like ours were destroyed. She wasn't wrong. Stories of Lucia Steelwind were circulating in papers for months. Even if that still stood at the top of this kingdom, there were no real consequences. What were you arguing about? For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated magic. If you even mentioned it around him, he'd fly into a rage about it. And you're born a mage. Ever since our tavern closed, my dad's been in a lot of debt. Fighting always came naturally to me, so I became a mercenary and learned how to use magic to help me fight. Most of Weavengard's mages are in the nobility. People will pay a lot for a soldier who can use arcane magic. So that's why she was a mercenary. Yeah, okay, that all makes sense. Last night, my dad found my spell compendium. When I saw him holding it, I finally came clean to him, and that set him off. He shouted at me, told me I betrayed him and everything he stood for. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved it. I knew how much he hated magic. He was fighting for what he believed, and I wasn't even there to protect him. Don't say that. You couldn't have known what would happen. I'm sure he still loved you. He just lost his temper. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me. And he died hating me. Felt a sharp pain in my chest as I read that, but I didn't say anything more. Oh, that appears to him as text. I thought that was just sort of a thought in there. There's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but it's the only room I haven't seen yet. At the end of the hallway? I think that's my room. Do you know how I could get in there? I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything strange. Sorry, you're right. I just keep the key on me. You can use this to get inside. So I'll have to go back there. Do you know anything about this? Nope. Okay. Do you know anything about this? Bought for my family to make their lives easier, but I think it just made things more complicated. Honestly, I was hoping I could make my dad hate magic less, but malfunctioned a lot. He'd get so angry every time it stopped working. He really hated the thing. Yeah, without an arcane power cell, those lights aren't very useful. I don't know why he kept trying to use it when he hated it so much. Why do I keep trying to play XCOM when it keeps crashing on me? Alright, so I need to save because it is 6 o'clock here, but yeah, so we're going to have a real interesting time next week here because I'm going to forget so much of what has happened this week. But that's going to be part of the fun of this, is that we're going to stumble through this and figure things out in the least efficient possible way, because I will have to remember everything after an entire week of not remembering the details of this particular case. So that's going to be great. I'm just going to save here. I think that should be fine. But yeah, that's this game. I actually think that this is, well, it's basically just like the exact formula for Phoenix Wright. And Phoenix Wright games I actually thought were really compelling and really interesting. The thing about these games is that more than anything, they're like actually not lawyer games, they're like detective games. And I really like the detective genre. I actually read quite a lot of those books. So the fact that that's what this is, that works for me. The fact that they're laying out the rules for magic is something that I was like, okay, they're going to probably have to do some element of like world building where they explain how magic works in a formulaic way where like magic can't just do whatever bullshit, because that would make it impossible to tell what the hell's going on. But yeah, seeing how they actually do the specific detective cases and incorporate the magic into it, there's going to be a lot of plot holes as we progress further and further and further. Like, why don't they just solve this problem with magic is going to be something that's going to increasingly come up. But that's fine. Detective shows. Yeah, I really like it. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna have a really rough time next week when I come back to this and I've forgotten all the elements of this particular case file. And I'm going to have to go through everything from square one. But you know what? I bet real lawyers also have that problem where they've like not remembered their case and they have to re-go over it before they go to court or whatever. But they're professionals and know what they're doing, and I'm not. So yeah, in any event though, yeah, that's going to be our stream for today. I'll see you guys on Monday.